here in the bottom of the first inning. No score. We want to now welcome everybody in here on YouTube who are joining us for this presentation of Michigan and Fresno State. I'm Alex Drain, joined by Charlie Brigham here on both YouTube and 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. Wind up, and the first pitch to Lexi Blair is a little down and away.
Yeah, Michigan looking to continue that hot start. 4-0 so far in the weekend. Going to look to make it 5-0 here in this last game against Fresno State.
Dolcini winds up, delivers that one right on the outside black, 1-1.
That's a nice pitch there. Lexi Blair wanted to lay off that one. Wasn't too sure if that one was going to be called a strike, low and away. Decided to lay off. Obviously not. That call didn't go in her favor. Tied up here, 1-1 count.
There's a swing and a miss. 1-2. Lexi Blair had a very cold day yesterday, and Michigan was able to put up 11 runs on Florida despite very little production from their star hitter. This lineup's been clicking top to bottom, and they've been able to put up runs without Blair so far. They'd like to get her going. The 1-2 pitch, just a little on the outside. Now 2-2.
Yeah, you know, Lexi might not have had the best day yesterday, but none of it was really due to her own fault. She would hit the ball hard, just hit it right to people, couldn't find the gaps.
And Blair fouls that one back.
Glad to see that Blair looks really confident up there in the box, even after that slow day yesterday. You know, some hitters might come out and just take defensive swings or just try to lay down a bunt to get going, but Blair's just coming out swinging. Here comes the 2-2, the windup.
Blair fouls that one right back. Battling right now. Two and two count. It's a 9 a.m. Sunday morning start here in Tampa, and it's going to be a beautiful day. Just 61 degrees right now, with the high of 79 as we get into the afternoon. Blair swings, hits this one right back to the pitcher, Dolcini. She throws over to first for the first out of the contest.
And again, that seems to be a trend for Blair so far these past couple of days. She's hit the ball hard every time, just hitting it right back to people. Can't find the gaps. That one, a hard hit ground ball, like you said, right back to the pitcher.
She waited to get a decent pitch, but just slapped it right back to the circle. And that'll bring up Juju Jimenez. She also was a little bit cold yesterday. Looks at that first one inside, a hero on Friday, especially the game-winning double against Illinois State in that game. Yesterday, it's a little bit quieter, that top of the lineup 1-2. Didn't get involved much. 1-0 coming. Takes that one a little inside. Fresno State yesterday played Florida and lost 6-4. That was right before Michigan smacked Florida around. 2-0 count is down and in. And now the count runs 3-0 on Jimenez. Dolcini going to talk to her infield. The infield for Fresno State playing straight up right now. Jimenez not much of a threat to bunt, and she's in a 3-0 count. And she will customarily just watch it sail in for a called strike on the inner edge. Started one step towards first base and then was beckoned back by our home plate umpire, Terry Holt. Now 3-1 the count.
This is a great situation to be in if you're Juju. 3-1. That fastball's got to come right at you. She's been driving the ball hard all weekend. Gonna look to do that again here.
3-1. She's just a tad out in front of it and shoots it back to the screen.
Took a big cut there on that one.
Dolcini started against USF on Friday night. 7 innings, 5 hits, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts, and 2 runs against. Pretty solid outing, and Fresno State was able to edge the home Bulls 3-2. USF now a shocking 0-3 on the season after that heartbreaker loss to Michigan last night. Full count coming. Jimenez out in front of it again, and she pounds it foul past Carol Hutchins down the third base side.
And we were talking earlier, that's going to do it for USF's time in this Invitational. That last game last night would have started at about 11:30 p.m. They decided to cancel that one, let the players get a little bit of sleep.
So now the catcher for Fresno State will head on out there to have a quick chat. That's Preston forming the battery with Dolcini. Stat sheet, a little slow to update right now. We didn't get proper lineups. Fresno State did not have the courtesy to tweet theirs out.
I mean, that's just the Michigan difference for you right there, though, Alex.
3-2 one more time, and Jimenez takes ball 4 just a little bit low. That's a really nice walk from the freshman second baseman. And that'll bring up Lou Allen. Lou's already now got 2 home runs on the weekend and has already very quickly established herself as the most dangerous bat in this Michigan lineup, and she comes up now, the runner on first, and 1 out.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can really say about Lou besides the fact that she's been dominant so far. It seems like every pitch that's gone over the plate, she's punished the pitcher for doing that. She's going to look to continue that here against Fresno State, looking to get Michigan out to an early lead. 1 runner on base. We know Jimenez has wheels. Ball in the gap might score.
Pitch taken a little down and in. Here's number 2 on the way. Allen takes that one just on the inner edge for a called strike. Count evens at 1 apiece. Jimenez down there at first. Allen in the batter's box, Wolverines on deck, and you talk about these 2 players. Neither were starters a year ago, but they have very quickly seemed to be a potent 3-4 for this Michigan team that is reloading. There's a pitch down, nice block in the dirt by the catcher Preston.
Yeah, that is a nice block there. Keeping that ball from going to the backstop is going to be huge, obviously for anybody, but with speed like Jimenez is on first base, you want to keep her there as long as possible, keep her out of scoring position, especially with Lou Allen at the plate.
The windup and the 2-1. Allen swings, hits this one high in the sky to left field, backing up towards the track to the wall, and it will fall about 5 feet in front of the wall and into the glove of the Fresno State left fielder Jennings for the second out of the inning. A really nice hit ball, just came up a little bit short.
Yeah, that one just a little bit too high in the sky to get over the fence there. Ball went up, wind held it there for a bit. Didn't quite let it get over. But again, nice piece of hitting there by Lou Allen. That's going to stick in the back of the pitcher's mind.
So now that brings up Wolverines. Runner still on first now. 2 outs in the inning. First pitch up a little high. 1-0. We've talked a lot about process over results, and Michigan had the process yesterday. Just waited, took their pitches, and then smacked Florida around. They got a lot of good swings in against USF, weren't always rewarded, but they stayed persistent. There's a called strike on the outside edge. Wolverines was the hero in the game against USF last night, looping one into left field that dropped over the head of the shortstop, scored the go-ahead run to make it 2-1, and Megan Bobian's heroics in the bottom of the 8th able to close out the Bulldogs. There's pitch a little outside, 2-1. Wolverines looks at it. Dolcini sitting in the low 60-mile-an-hour range right now. Taylor Bump waiting on deck for the Wolverines in the bottom of the first. No score between number 17 Michigan and Fresno State. 2-1 on the way, and Wolverines swings right by it.
Hey, she might have missed that one, but that one's a good cut, especially with the runner on base and 2 outs. Looking to drive the ball, get any kind of momentum going you can if you're Michigan.
Now, Fresno State right-handed hurler steps back on the rubber. The windup, the 2-2 Wolverines swings and misses, and that will end the inning. Dolcini gets her first strikeout, gets a ground-out, fly-out, and strikeout around a walk to end the frame, and we will go to the second. No score between Michigan and Fresno State. You're listening to Michigan Softball on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
I'd like to thank everybody tuning in here early. Those of you on our YouTube broadcast commenting in. We got some shout-outs, some people listening from Kalamazoo, Michigan, from Kingsbury, California, some more from South Carolina, some more from Virginia. Just want to say thank you, everybody, again, for coming out on this early morning.
So Michigan will send Alex Storako back out there for the second inning. She looked very sharp in the first. Got a pop out to short and a pair of strikeouts swinging. Looks locked in after notching 16 strikeouts in the first game of the season on Friday morning/afternoon. Then she came in, got 6 more strikeouts in a 2-inning save against Illinois State yesterday. Against Florida, not as dominant, but she did get 7 Ks in 6 innings, went the distance for the run rule victory, and allowed just 2 runs against a solid Gator lineup.
And it should be noted that both of those runs came on solo shots. Yeah, Storraco's looked really good so far. You know, just from the get-go, she came out with that 16 strikeout game. She's looked really confident in herself and in her abilities. She's been a great rock for Megan Beaubien. She struggled. Beaubien struggled a little bit in her first performance, but Storraco was able to carry the load until Beaubien settled back in. And when Beaubien came back in, she was dominant like we've seen.
So it'll be Martinez, Preston, and Rollader. First pitch, just a tad high. Storraco, maybe now Michigan's ace. A lot of questions about that. Something we'll certainly discuss on this week's episode of East of the Rockies. But Megan Beaubien had a nice bounce-back performance last night, but Hutch choosing to go to Storraco here in this one. 1-0 on the way. That one also up high.
Yeah, choosing to go to Storraco on this one might just have to do with the fact that Beaubien did throw a lot of pitches last night, and that game went a little bit late, just giving her a little bit of rest coming into the day.
2-0 count on Martinez. That one off speed freezes her and goes down for a strike. Michigan today will try to move to a record of 5-0 on the season, which would amazingly be the first 5-0 start since 2011 for this Michigan team. 2-1 count. Storraco gets a swing and a miss from Martinez upstairs. Now the count runs to 2-2.
Yeah, it's been absolutely a great pitch for Storraco all weekend. That high fastball getting hitters to chase. We saw her dominate Georgia State with that, getting a lot of hitters to chase. That must have led her to that 16 strikeout victory.
2-2 is high and outside. 3-2 now. We have a correction. This is actually Galvin in the batter's box. Again, the stat sheet is a mess right now. It's listed Martinez on the scoreboard and the stat sheet, but this is not number 25, as that one is popped up foul and out of play. This is number 15 in the batter's box. This is Haley Galvin instead of Martinez. Hopefully they'll correct the scoreboard out there.
Yeah, we don't care so much about the stat sheet, but the scoreboard, that might need to change.
Galvin steps back in the batter's box. Storraco steadies herself, winds up. 3-2 coming is a little high. That'll be a walk to lead off the top of the second. And now that'll bring up Preston in the 5-hole. Galvin down there at first doesn't seem to be the biggest threat to steal, and Michigan has got a pitcher warming up in the bullpen. Just looks like standard practice, nothing too serious, but that is Lauren Essman throwing down there. There's a pitch popped up, go over our heads and off the roof.
If that little Michigan fan is here from yesterday, get after it.
Yeah. He collected a lot of foul balls in that game against Florida, especially in the at-bat by Taylor Bump that eventually led to a home run. Preston, righty hitter against the righty Storraco. Runner on first, nobody out. 0-1 coming up high. Where Storraco has missed this weekend, it has missed upstairs. Otherwise, command has generally been on point, and she's gotten a lot of strikeouts. That's the name of her game.
Yeah, whereas Beaubien last night was missing a little bit left or right, kind of getting squeezed by the umpire, Storraco has been consistently missing high. She's been on the plate just upstairs.
1-1 coming. That one is also way up high. She's had a tendency to rise on her, and now Rodriguez comes over and just quick handshake with Storraco, trying to reassure her a little bit, settle her down. She looked very sharp in the first. Now here the command just a little all over the place. 2-1 count. The windup, the pitch, that's a nice comeback pitch.
Nice pitch at the knees there to gain that second strike, even out the count to 2-2.
Took a little off that one, down to 55 mile an hour. Went off speed, got it back comfortably over the plate. Now in a strikeout situation, we'll see what she can go to here. 2-2 count, the windup, the pitch. That one bounces in. It gets away from Carson, and Galvin goes on down to second. That'll go down as a wild pitch.
That one's tough. We've seen Carson block everything that's come at her so far this weekend. She was able to block that one, but just took an awkward bounce off the chest piece and rolled towards the Fresno State on-deck circle. That's a tough break.
And now Jen Brundage will go out there trying to settle down Storako, help her work through this issue of command. You can tell right there she went to off speed again, and it just sort of flopped like a dead fish into the ground, bouncing into home plate. And that's the thing with Storako, is that we've seen just at times command a little bit shaky. The confidence sometimes has been an issue. And now, look at this. They're going to pinch run Galvin for Martinez, the player who is listed in Galvin's spot on the scoreboard and the stat sheet.
I guess they don't have to change the scoreboard now. They were just waiting for it. They're like, she's going to get the second. They're going to pinch run anyway. Just don't change it yet.
And the umpire now signals down there about the pinch runner. 3-2 counts. Storako, no outs in the inning. Should try a notch a strikeout here. Spins the ball in the right hand. The windup, the full count pitch, swing and a miss.
Got her to chase upstairs. We've seen that, like we said, from Storako all weekend long, coming back to it there. Great pitch.
And so that'll now bring up Rollader. Runner on second, one out. Big first out of the inning. Now Michigan will draw the defense in for a slap hitter. Corners pulled in especially. First pitch is a called strike. Rollader watches it land on the outer edge. 0-1 count. Alex steps back on the rubber. Taylor Bump playing the closest in at third. Allen a little bit closer to the bag at first. Bunt shown again and pulled back for another called strike, and just like that, Storako ahead 0-2.
Michigan bunts coverage have been very good so far. The rotations have been good. Taylor Bump, like we just saw, crashing towards home plate. Natalia Rodriguez making that good switch over towards third base to cover the bag.
0-2 count. The windup, the pitch, that one up high. 1-2. Really, the defense has been phenomenal all weekend long.
Yeah, as impressive as the offense has been, run ruling Florida, a lot of that has to do with the defense. The defense has been spectacular all weekend long. Highlight reel play after highlight reel play.
1-2, and that one gets away. Carson loses control of it. Runner goes to third, and now it'll be a 2-2 count. Again, Storako's off-speed stuff too hot to handle right now for Hanna Carson, and a pair of wild pitches has moved a runner from first to third. But still a 2-2 count. If Storako can come back, get another K, then she moves into a two-out situation, but it's got to watch that command.
Yeah, really the only difference here in Martinez being on third is the opportunity to tag up on a fly ball. A single to the outfield probably would have scored her anyway.
2-2, called strike three. And as the great Ernie Harwell would say, Rollader stood there like a house by the side of the road and watched it for a called strike three. Now 2 outs in the inning, and Storako just needs a standard out here from Jennings to get through the inning. But again, it's got to watch those wild pitches.
Yeah, it's a great strikeout there by Storako. Takes some pressure off herself and her defense. Runner being on third doesn't mean as much now with 2 outs.
Wind up, first pitch coming up high. Carson jumps out of that stance. She's been very agile in getting up out of her crouch. When the wild pitches have happened this weekend, they've been ones in the dirt that Carson has had trouble corralling. She's been great at getting up high. That fastball at 65 miles an hour. 1-0 coming, off speed, tad high, 2-0.
Yeah, just missed. But going back to what we were saying, the defense has been spectacular. We've had 2 plays at the plate off deep balls to the outfield. One on the first day, Juju Jimenez relay from way past second base, got the runner at home. I think that was Grace Kittrell of Georgia State.
Yep. 2-0 on the way, swing and a miss. 2-1.
And we had another one last night against USF. Natalia Rodriguez with a nice relay from the left field corner, cut that one off and threw the runner out at home to save a run against USF.
And that run probably would have won the game.
Yeah.
It was in the 5th inning. It was a 1-1 game. It ended up being 1-1 into extras. 2-1 on the way. Jennings waves and misses. 2-2. Storako gets the ball back, steps back to the edge of the circle, which is something we talked about yesterday with Florida, that routine where she catches the ball, walks straight back with her back to the plate, then turns around and walks straight forward. 2-2 count, 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. Runner on third, 2 outs, no score in the top of the second. The windup, the pitch, swing and just getting a piece is Jennings.
Barely fouled that one off. Sirocco going back to that high fastball, getting hitters to chase.
She gave up a walk to start the inning, and a pair of wild pitches has moved the runner from first to third, but she's collected 2 more strikeouts in this inning and now is knocking on the door of number 3. Looks at the wristband. Two, swing and a tap foul.
Nice
Jennings
hands
out
over
in front
there
of
by the
it.
first base coach.
Yeah. No other teams here at the USF softball stadium yet. This is the first game of the day. Got a couple more this afternoon. Game last night that USF was supposed to be playing in got straight up canceled because it was too late. 2-2, check swing, did not go. 3-2. Rise ball almost got that swing and a miss.
Yeah, the game before that last USF game, the Fresno State-Georgia State game, ended at about 11:15.
Yeah, they were supposed to start at around 11:45 p.m. and it was too late to play under tournament rules. 3-2 coming, and that one's up high again. And Jennings draws a walk, and now that'll bring up Denby, the number 8 hitter, with runners on the corner. Sirocco has not given up a hit yet, but 2 walks in this inning, gotten herself into a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, Sirocco's had a little bit of trouble with the walk so far this weekend, but looking to bounce back here. Really no damage done. No more runners in scoring position. Got the right-handed freshman up to the plate now.
And she cuts and misses there. It's Alicia Denby at the plate from Murrieta, California. This is one of 2 freshmen in the starting lineup today for the Bulldogs. Runners on the corners, 0-1 count. Alex winds up and blows that one by her again. Denby's not close on these swings, struggling to catch up to the 65-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, like we said, Denby, a freshman. These are few early games in her college career. And again, facing a dominant pitcher like Sirocco's got to be tough this early.
0-2 count. The windup, the pitch, swing and a miss, and Sirocco gets her with the rise ball. 3 swings and 3 misses there from Denby. Alex collects 3 more Ks in that inning. She's got 5 through 2. We go to the bottom half of the frame. Michigan will send the offense back up there looking for the first run of the game. No score here in Tampa.
Yeah, great job by Sirocco not messing around with anything there. She saw the opportunity to take advantage of the weaker freshman bat up at the plate, and she did just that. Just went 3 straight fastballs and blew her by her.
So they'll send the hurler back out there as well as the defense for Fresno State. Tolchini surrendered a walk and stranded 1 in that bottom of the first. No hits yet in this game. And again, Michigan yesterday has that big first win against Florida. Struggled to keep the energy level high in a trap game against USF, but eked out a victory in extras. And here at a 9 a.m. early morning start, trying to get the offense fired up and leave this weekend perfect.
Yeah, it's a great day for some softball. Sun's shining, wind's not blowing too hard. It's a beautiful day.
So it'll be Taylor Bump leading it off for Michigan in the bottom of the second. Hanna Carson on deck, and then Haley Hoganrod in the hole. 1, 2, 3 to come up in this inning. They are the 5, 6, 7 hitters in the order. Carol Hutchins trotting on out to third base. Pets Taylor Bump on the rear, and Bump gets ready to step in. She's looked like a much different hitter this season compared to last year. A lot more patient. Showed off that innate power yesterday with the home run against Florida. That made it 11-2, which ended up being the final score. First pitch, she takes a tad inside.
Yeah, something that should be noted about that home run at bat, that was about a 12-pitch at bat.
Yeah.
Michigan's been very disciplined and very patient up at the plate, waiting until they get their pitch. Bump fouled off pitch after pitch, eventually worked herself to a 3-2 count. Then
1-0 down and in.
When she got hers on that 3-2, just absolutely ripped it down the third baseline for a home run.
And Taylor Bump, a native of the sort of South Florida, Tampa area, as you might say. It was 2 years ago the team actually stayed at her house as she takes a 2-0 for a strike when their flight back to Detroit was canceled. So obviously playing in front of presumably quite a few family members here in the Florida area, and she's now started 3 of 5 games this weekend at third base. 2-1 Cummings, swings, pops it up, foul. Arcing and goes into the bushes out of the stadium. 2-2 the count.
Like we said, Bump's been sharing time at third base, has really made a case for her starting spot as she's just been red hot up at the plate. We're going to continue that here as she takes this 2-2 count.
Pitch on the way is down 3-2. She certainly looked better at the plate so far than Uden, and the question is, can her defense keep up at third? And seemed okay. I mean, Michigan has not committed an error yet this weekend, so hasn't been really any weak links in the defense. 3-2 coming. Bump swings, hits this one into center field on the run, and making the play there.
That's a nice play there by the center fielder. That ball was getting there in a hurry, but wind kind of kept it up, allowed the center fielder time to get over and grab that one. But again, nice swing by Taylor Bump. She continues her attack at the plate.
Wilson runs that one down in left center. Put a solid charge into that one, did Bump. Not rewarded, though. Now it brings up Hanna Carson. Had a nice day yesterday. Couple RBI singles, one against Florida and one against USF in that lefty batter's box. Looks at the first pitch a tad high. Carson steps out, takes a couple practice swings. We're finally completing the defensive alignment. It's Jennings, Wilson, Hall, left to right in the outfield. You got Demby at first and Fuller at third as Carson hits this one and just flips it into the Fresno State dugout. 1-1. Then Broussard at short and Rollader at second. Preston behind the plate, Dolcini in the circle.
Carson taking her time, stepping back in the box. Here's the windup on the 1-1. This one swung on and ripped down the first baseline. It's going to go foul, though, into the Michigan dugout.
1-2 the count. Carson steps out, takes a couple practice swings, and you look at this tournament, something Carol Hutchins talked about at Media Day was that Michigan just does not get many breaks in the schedule this year. Really no doormat type opponents. 1-2, called strike 3 on the outer edge, and Carson watches it, and now quickly 2 outs in the inning.
These past 2 games, that seemed to be a problem for Michigan, watching strike 3 go by. The first couple games, first 2-3 games of this season, they didn't have any strikeouts looking. They were attacking at the plate every time. Don't know if it's a difference in the change of the strike zone, haven't adjusted to it yet. In the past 2 games, we've seen about 3 or 4 strikeouts looking. I'll look to cut back on those if you're Michigan.
Hoganrod stands in there now, takes a called strike on the inside part of the plate. 0-1. Hoganrod was the player of the game against Florida yesterday afternoon. He's had a very nice weekend overall. Solid defense in center fielder. Range has looked good as well. Kind of expected Lexi Blair to be in center, but they've moved Hoganrod there, and she has held her ground, no question. Pitched down at the knees, but a little off the plate inside, 1-1.
Yeah, Hoganrod's been playing very well. It's great to have a multi-hit game. It's especially great to have a multi-double game like she did against Florida.
1-1 count. Looks at that one for a called strike. Haley's plate approach especially has been patient, even compared to her teammates, where overall there's been a lot of patience. She is engaged in a lot of long at-bats. 1-2 the count. The windup, the pitch, she swings, fouls this one off. But as I was saying, you look at this weekend, I mean, Georgia State was the only team in this tournament that was especially bad. Illinois State came out really scrappy. USF and Florida both made the tournament. Fresno State was close a year ago. Then you look to next weekend in the ACC Big Ten Challenge, 2 teams that made the tournament as well in UNC and Louisville. 1-2, taken inside, 2-2. Michigan just doesn't get a break for a while. Playing quality teams every game. You can't come out and just lay down and still expect to win.
Yeah, yesterday was just a good day to be a Michigan sports fan.
2-2 on the way. Oh, boy. That was a ball inside, and the catcher, Preston, jumped up, threw the ball away like she was headed to the dugout for strike 3, and home plate umpire not a fan of that. Carol Hutchins walks over and perhaps going to talk to Terry Holt there down behind home plate, and Holt will probably say something to Preston, worried about her showing him up.
That's a little embarrassing right there if you're the catcher. It's one thing as a hitter to see the ball go by and think it's ball 4. For the catcher to toss the ball back up, and it's not even like she started throwing it around. She just tossed it up in the air. She thought that was 3 outs and started walking back to the dugout.
And there was no signal given at all. There was no verbal signal, no arm movement. I mean, yikes.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty clear that it was a ball.
3-2 the count. Preston a little eager to get back in the dugout there. Full count pitch is high and outside, and now this inning will continue. Michigan draws another walk. That's their second base runner of the game, trying to get a 2-out rally going as Thais Gonzalez will step to the plate now.
Yeah, that one's tough. You got to think if it was a close call, the umpire might have just given it to Michigan out of spite right there.
So Thais will step in. Something we were talking about on the drive over here is that Carol Hutchins told us at media today that she didn't have a set lineup, but so far through these 5 games, there definitely seems like there is a set lineup. Hoganrod stealing, throw on down to second, not in time as Thais waves and misses on that first pitch, but Michigan moves Hoganrod up to second, now a runner in scoring position with the stolen base.
No, it's very true. She said, like we said, the lineup would be subject to change, but it has seemed really consistent, at least the batting order. You know, we saw a little bit of substitution going on at third base between Maddie Uden and Taylor Bump, but other than that, it's been very consistent.
0-1 coming. Gonzalez looks at that one outside, and Thais is part of that. Came in a battle for right field. Uncertain, but she started all 5 games this weekend. First time in her career she's going to make it out of the first weekend as a starter. 1-1 coming. She swings, loops this one in the infield. Coming over is the shortstop, Broussard, to make the play. And that will end the inning. We will go to the third. Michigan gets another runner on, but they'll leave one at second. And now they'll send Storako back out there for the top of the third. No score in Tampa. You're listening to Michigan Softball on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. Got a couple more people listening in. Go Blue from Alabama. A Go Blue from Jackson, Michigan. Both my parents, Jackson, Michigan natives. And Go Blue from Bonita Springs, Florida, originally from Flat Rock, Michigan. Storako goes back out there. Looked pretty sharp so far. A couple walks in that second inning, but she's gotten 5 strikeouts through 2 frames. Has seemed pretty locked in overall. Confidence a little wavering with the command in that second, but overall hasn't really given up anything hard hit. Just 1 ball put in play. That was a pop-out, very soft to shortstop. Everything else has been either a strikeout or a walk.
Yeah, you know, we've been preaching the excellence of the Michigan's defense, but a lot of the lack of errors have to do with the fact that Storako's just been striking everybody out.
Yep.
They haven't had to worry about any balls being in play.
Well, just like they say in hockey that your goalie's your best penalty killer, in baseball, softball, your pitcher can be your best defender if the ball's not being put in play. Storako goes back out there. She's got the ribbon in the braid, and she'll get ready to face the number 9 hitter, Fuller. Then they'll flip to the top. Wilson and Hall will come back up for Fresno State. As we approach now the second time through the order, it'll be interesting to see how these Bulldog hitters adjust to the Michigan right-hander.
Nice pitch there by Storako, strike at the knees.
0-1 count. Checks the wristband. Ball in the glove, the windup. 0-1 coming, swinging a high pop-up into shallow center field. Backing up Natalia Rodriguez, and she makes the play on the edge of the infield grass going into the outfield.
Nice play there by Rodriguez to open up the hips and run back towards that ball. Allow herself time to settle under it and not having to worry about backpedaling, trying to catch it over her head. Nice play there.
And now Wilson will check in. Second time through the order now for Fresno State. Wilson popped out to short her first time up. Infield drawn in for the slapper, and Storako buzzes her high and tight. Continuing that pattern of when she's missing high.
And just as that's going on, Georgia State pulling up off their bus walking into the facility right now in left field.
Georgia State beat Illinois State last night. Good win for them. There's a ground ball over to Taylor Bump. Gloves it, throws across the diamond for the out.
What a play.
Not an easy one to make with the slapper quick down the line, but Taylor Bump, really nice, sound defense right there, and quickly 2 outs in the third.
Yeah, defense at third base, even though there's been a lot of change between Matty Uden and Taylor Bump, defense at third base has stayed very solid. Matty Uden had a very good game yesterday. He was getting absolutely blasted as ball after ball came towards her at third base. Didn't crack under the pressure, though, made every play, and nice play there by Taylor Bump.
Could be a nice, quick 1-2-3 inning if Stracco can put Hall down here. Infield still drawn in, and Hall shoots it straight back to the screen. Carson backtracks to pick it up and throw it back. Michigan wearing the maize uniforms today with the blue pants. We were talking about how we really like these maize uniforms.
I like maize uniforms on pretty much every team.
They look nice and clean here today, and a nice color contrast with the red tops for Fresno State. 0-1 wind up, and there's a bouncing ball right over to third. Bump gloves it again, throws across the diamond for another out, and a quick 1-2-3 inning for Alex Stracco. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Scoreless in Tampa between Michigan and Fresno State. Hitless as well. You're listening to Michigan Softball on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. Well, this Fresno State team, you look at the history of the Bulldogs, they were a perennially great team throughout the 80s and the 90s. Coached by Margie Wright from 1986 to 2012. She was the all-time winningest coach in NCAA softball history until 2016 when Carol Hutchins passed her. She retired after a 2012 season. They have named the field in Fresno Margie Wright Field. A legend of college softball. She took Fresno State to 5 Women's College World Series, including 1 national title in 1998, but they struggled to stay that good since Wright's retirement, but they've still made the tournament pretty consistently in the last several years. Have missed the last 2, but were in it in 17 and 16. And Michigan faced Fresno State in 17 in the Seattle Regional. And last year, Fresno State finished with a 37-20 record, 14-10 in Mountain West Conference play, 60th in RPI, and looking to improve on that this season and get back in the NCAA tournament. And again, there's just a big difference in playing these kinds of tournaments when you're facing number 60 in RPI versus like 270 or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Stat broadcast finally up and running.
As Natalia Rodriguez steps in, 9-1-2 for the Michigan offense, looking for their first hit. Nat Rod shows bunt, pulls it back for a ball outside. Both pitchers have surrendered a pair of walks and no hits thus far. Stracco threw 3 and Dolcini threw 2. Looks like both teams' offense is a little slow to wake up in this 9 o'clock early morning start. 1-0 coming. Rodriguez takes it on the outside corner for a called strike, 1-1.
Yeah, for those of you wondering, Nat Rod is batting left-handed. This a bat known to be a switch hitter coming in the left-hander's batter's box. Count 1-1.
The 1-1 pitch. Takes that one a little off the plate outside, 2-1. Rodriguez has been a starter pretty much since day 1 of her freshman season at shortstop. It's been very consistent, sure-handed defensively. Slap hitter, gets on with the speed, and frequently sacrifices with the bunt. 2-1 coming. Another pitch just a little outside, 3-1. Michigan would love to get Rodriguez on the leadoff hitter and use her speed on the base paths with Lexi Blair ready to come up in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, absolutely. Michigan's lineup full of speed.
3-1 called strike. Dolcini's been targeting that outside edge, had missed it 2 times in a row, now hits it there, and the count runs full. Rodriguez has not liked any of these pitches, has not attempted a swing yet.
Yeah, Dolcini seems to be taking the approach Megan Bobian did last night, trying to paint the corners the entire time.
3-2 ground ball over to short. Quick play across the diamond is made by Broussard for the first out.
Natrod looked a little awkward coming off of first base there. Her foot kind of slipped off. Luckily, she looks to be okay. She walks back into the dugout just a little frustrated.
So now it's going to be Michigan's second time through the order. Blair and Jimenez to come up in this inning with 1 out. Lexi trying to get going. Had a soft ground out back to the circle her first time up. Wind up, and the first pitch sails high. Blair had a nice day on Friday, 2 for 6, but then was 0 for 7 with a walk yesterday. Now 0 for 1 in this contest thus far. 1-0, swings, hits this one right on the ground to first base. Backhand stab by Denby, and she makes the play unassisted.
Nice play there by Denby, having to go across her body and go down onto a knee to pick that one backhand, like you said. That's going to bring up Juju Jimenez stepping back into the box, the freshman. She had a walk back in the first inning. I'll look to get on base again here, get Michigan started with a 2-out rally.
Jimenez drew a walk her first time up. Michigan hasn't hit many balls hard so far. First pitch off speed sails in for a called strike, 0-1.
43 miles an hour. That one was really floating down in there.
Yeah. Juju steps back in. Cocks the bat over the right shoulder. The righty hitter against the righty Dolcini. She swings, loops this one high in the air and foul. It will land off the roof. And now quickly ahead 0-2 is the pitcher, Dolcini.
That one was a very hard hit ball. That one went straight up and got out in a hurry. USF baseball team back practicing behind us like they were the other day.
The windup, the 0-2 coming. She lines this one right into the glove of Fuller at third. Smoked it right to the hot corner, but it will go down as a line out. Fuller able to rob Jimenez of 2 bases right there. And a 1-2-3 inning for Fresno State. Finally a hard hit ball off the Michigan bats, but nothing to show for it. We go to the 4th. This game cruising along. Still no score and no hits in this one.
That one kind of a look what I found kind of play. That ball went right at Fuller, and she ducked away real quick and threw up the glove and just happened to land right in it. Nice piece of hitting there, though, by Juju Jimenez. Absolutely ripped that ball.
Storako heads back out there, and we haven't seen a ton of indication so far that Fresno State is going to be able to hit Storako yet. They have had some ground outs in the infield, a couple pop outs to short, and Storako has collected 5 strikeouts through 3 innings. The only base runners coming on walks. And the infield throwing it around, getting their warm-ups going for Fresno State. It will be Broussard, Galvin, and Preston. 3, 4, 5 here in the 4th inning. Yesterday's game against USF went very quick through the first 3 innings, then slowed down in the 4th and 5th.
Seemed like the first 2 innings took about 15 minutes total.
Yep.
Both teams went up and down, 1, 2, 3, both times. And here we go, set to start action back in the top of the 4th inning. The score is still tied 0-0. Neither team with a hit yet either.
Broussard doing a couple practice swings. She struck out swinging her first time up. Broussard will dig in, and we're ready to get rolling here in the top of the 4th. Storako winds up first pitch, fouled back and out of play. Michigan now. Espin has been warming up in that bullpen for a long time. And now a second player has joined her out there trying to see what direction that pitcher is throwing with. It is a lefty, so that is Megan Bobian down there. Dennis warmed up quite a bit yesterday, has still not pitched yet in her college career. Michigan just hasn't had a clear blowout game yet, besides the Florida game. 0-1 coming, swing and a miss by Broussard, and Michigan was never going to chance it with a freshman against a team like Florida, no matter how much they were up by. So they just haven't been an opportunity to get Dennis in yet, and that's the downside to playing such a difficult schedule where you're in competitive games all the time. Haven't had many doormats yet to work some newer players into the fold. 0-2 coming right down the pipe, and Broussard watches it.
Yeah, it's been tough for the Michigan roster.
Strikeout looking makes it 1 out in the inning, and Galvin will come up.
Yeah, you know, those younger pitchers, Dennis, for example, not getting the time that they'd want, as, you know, Bobby and Storako have been carrying a majority of the load, actually all of the load, in these past few games.
First pitch coming to Galvin is a little low, and you look at the Michigan non-conference slate, it's competitive weekend after competitive weekend. I mean, really, the first easy stretch for Michigan won't be until they return to Alumni Field in mid-March, when they finally get Ball State and Purdue and a couple other easier MAC teams. But until then, it's going to be a lot of competitive games. That pitch floats high, 2-0. Galvin drew a walk and then was pinch ran for by Martinez her first time up. They have finally fixed the scoreboard, properly showing Galvin in the 4-hole.
Yeah, the scoreboard and stat broadcast are back up and running.
2-0 on the way, off speed, called strike, 2-1. USF Softball Stadium today, I would say, is at about 25 or maybe 30% capacity. A little sparse for the early morning game. A lot of the Michigan fans who do come down for the weekend mostly show up for the Florida game. 2-1 is way high, 3-1.
Yeah, that Florida game was absolutely packed yesterday. There wasn't a seat in the house you could find. There was a ton of people standing in the stadium. There was a bunch of people sitting in lawn chairs behind the right field wall. We had people listening from behind the right field wall, actually, yesterday, giving us some feedback.
3-1 the count. Storako trying to avoid another walk. Galvin here. The wind up the pitch, swing and a miss. Galvin chased the rise ball way out of the zone up high, and now the count runs full. Preston waiting on deck with 1 out in the top of the 4th. No score, no hits between Michigan and Fresno State. A pitcher's battle so far. The offenses seem to still be in bed here on Sunday morning. Full count coming, fouled back.
Storako showing a little bit of attitude right there as the Fresno State bench heckled her with the 3 balls chant. Gets that second strike and looks right back at the dugout before taking her usual stroll to the back of the circle, then back towards the mound. She's resetting now with a full count and 1 out.
Full count pitch, the windup, the delivery, and another foul back. Galvin chasing him high right now, but they are making a bit of contact. Storako now over 50 pitches, but these have been really low-stress pitches. She did log about 115 yesterday and a similar number on Friday, but should still have a lot in the tank. And you'll have Bobian available as well. Obviously, you'll get 4 days off before you're back at it next Friday. Galvin lines this one down the line, and fair ball into the corner. She's headed to second and will cruise in there with a double, just tucking it past the glove of Taylor Bump. Wasn't super hard hit, but well placed. Fresno State's got the first hit of the ball game, and a runner on second now with 1 out, as Preston will come on up.
Really great effort there by Taylor Bump, putting it all out on the line, diving over top of third base, trying to get that one. Just glances off the edge of the glove just barely.
So now Preston comes up. She struck out swinging her last time up, and it was in a pretty similar situation. There was a runner on second by the end of the at-bat because of a wild pitch that had moved Galvin up. That first one a little high, 1-0.
Yeah, don't know if that last one would have been a double if Taylor Bump didn't even touch it. Got the speed of Lexi Blair over there in left field. She might have gotten that ball, but since it did glance off Bump's glove, it rolled kind of into the corner and tucked itself away.
1-0 on the way. That one a little high, too. Storako isn't missing by a ton right now, but is in a 2-0 hole and's got to be a little careful here.
Fresno State bench right below us, full of energy. They have been this whole time.
2-0 on the way, and Preston fouls it straight back as it loops over the mesh netting and into the concourse.
We were fortunate enough for the 2 big games yesterday, those being Florida and USF, to have the Michigan bench right below us and the Michigan fans. Tell you what, Alex, that was a fun experience.
Yep, Michigan side has now moved back to the first base side. 2-1 on the way, I guess, is outside. 3-1. Storako got pinched there on the outer edge. Now he's got to be a little careful here.
If you're Preston, you're expecting fastball here. Going to look to punish that ball if it comes, especially with the runner in scoring position. Galvin not known for his speed on second, but a good hit could score.
3-1 on the way, fouled back again, 3-2 now. There are a few Florida fans in attendance, couple placed right behind home plate and a couple on our side. It's mostly all Michigan fans in attendance, though. Don't think any Fresno people made the trip. If they did, they're not wearing red at all. The only person in red I can see is in an Illinois State shirt. 3-2 coming, and that one's a little high. Preston draws a walk. That's now the third walk issued of the game by Storako, and now 2 on with 1 out for Rollader. And the infield's going to come in and try to settle Storako down. Again, nothing hard hit right now. Just command has wavered ever so slightly. And Lou Allen comes over and tries to reassure Storako. It was a double and then a walk.
As we've noted, Storako has been trying to live up high in the zone all game long. Trying to get a lower pitch in the zone might be the play here, trying to force a double play.
First pitch swung on and missed.
And she does go right to that low fastball at the knees. That's a great pitch by Storako.
And Rollader way off there. Infield pulled in with the slapper. Steps in the back of the batter's box and now will come up ready to run forward and slap it. Shows bunt, pulls it back, strike right on the outside black. Really nice pitch. And the count goes to 0-2. Runners on first and second, 1 out in the top of the fourth. Michigan has run into trouble for the second time today, and it's mostly been because of the walks, not because of hard contact. But Storako ahead here, 0-2, the windup, the pitch. Rise ball up, and Rollader able to hold off on it. Jennings waiting on deck. No score in this game. In the fifth and final game of the weekend for Michigan in the USF-Rawlings Invitational. Sophomore right-hander spins the ball. The windup, the 1-2, swing and a miss.
Nice pitch. Low and away fastball. That one's a tough pitch to hit no matter who you are. But especially for a slapper settling back in, just trying to swing normally, that low and outside fastball, touching high 60s is going to be tough to hit.
Now the count runs to 2 outs in the inning. And there's a pitch a little high. Jennings drew a walk with 2 outs back in the second inning. That put 2 runners aboard. And both ended up being stranded. Michigan trying to strand 2 right here. A 1-0 on the way. That pitch a little high, 2-0. Lou Allen comes in from first base. Yells a couple things to Storako. Both Jen Brundage and Carol Hutchins were out a couple steps from the dugout. Not coming out to talk, though, just getting a little closer. 2-0 on the way. Really nice off-speed pitch. Floats in for a strike.
Nice location there by Storako, keeping that off-speed away from the hitter, not giving them something they can drive down the middle. Great 2-0 pitch.
Now at 70 pitches on the day. 2-1 the count. Storako spins the ball, winds up, 2-1 coming, swinging a high fly ball into right field, but not deep. Right at Thais Gonzalez, who comes in a step for the third out of the inning. So for the second time today, Fresno State leaves 2 aboard. They get the first hit of the contest, but we are still scoreless going to the bottom of the fourth between Michigan and Fresno State. You're listening to Michigan Softball on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
Yeah, neither team find a hole every time they have put the ball in play. Besides that one double down the line, both teams just been ripping the ball right to the other team. We saw that hit from Juju Jimenez a couple innings ago. Hit that scorching line drive right back at the third baseman, Fuller. Both teams going to be looking to find gaps here as the game continues on. But like Alex just said, Fresno State is the only one on the board with a hit, but neither team has yet to score. We're still tied 0-0 as we go into the bottom of the fourth. Again, we'd like to thank you for listening here on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. And also, we'd like to thank those of you listening on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on that notification bell to be notified anytime we go live.
Some people listening from Oxford, Massachusetts, Thompson, Georgia, Southwest Arkansas, And now Michigan's offense will go back out there trying to flip the script in this game and get on the board. Michigan has scored first in every contest, but this is now tied with yesterday's game against USF for the latest into a ball game that Michigan has been scoreless. They went up 1-0 in the fourth of yesterday's game, then ceded it back. It was 1-1 then all the way into the eighth when Michigan went up 2-1 thanks to some help from the tiebreaker rule, and were able to fend off USF's charge with the tiebreaker rule to hang on for a dramatic 2-1 victory. But they're looking to get some offense here. Lou Allen will start things off. 3-4-5, Allen, Overitis, and Bump here in the bottom of the fourth. First pitch coming, skips in from Dolcini. Been overall pretty solid. Dolcini had 51 pitches during this inning, couple walks, couple strikeouts, 11 batters faced through 3 innings. Hasn't been very high stress yet. She hasn't looked unhittable at all, but Michigan just hasn't been able to line it up and get the right contact that they want yet. 1-0 coming. Allen takes it down and in. She hit one of the hardest balls today. It was a fly out to left field. Allen, Bump, and Jimenez have hit the hardest balls today. Flyouts to left, center, and a line out to third. 2-0 coming. Good hitters count here, and Lou swings and pops it up in the infield. Just didn't line it up properly, and Broussard makes the catch for the first out.
Yeah, Lou got a little bit handcuffed there, tried to pull that ball too much, and just caught it right on her hands and couldn't get the power behind it that she wanted, obviously. Popped that one up, barely gets out of the infield.
Now Overitis will step in with 1 out. Morgan struck out swinging with the runner on first to end the first inning. The windup, first pitch coming way high. Dolcini gets the throw back from the catcher.
Good leave there by Overitis, continuing Michigan's plate discipline, how good it's been all weekend.
1-0 on the way, called strike on the outer edge. Dolcini's mostly hit her spots today, a couple walks, but has overall done a good job mixing up pitch locations, and she's now retired 5 in a row.
In a lot of cases, location is just as important, if not more important, than velocity.
1-1 coming off speed, called strike. That's a really nice pitch.
Exactly my case there. That pitch coming in just 44 miles an hour, but just finds that bottom low and away corner. A tough pitch to hit even at that speed.
Yeah, her changeup is the slowest we've seen of any pitcher this weekend. 1-2. And it seemed like she hit that spot again, went to the fastball, but it was just outside, 2-2. Michigan's had quite a few gutsy takes this weekend. 2-2 count.
Yeah, it is just a testament, though, to how good their plate vision has been. They have confidence in themselves and their abilities to watch that pitch go by.
2-2 on the way over. Right, swings, hits this one into left field, a base hit, and she will take a wide turn at first, but will stop there. Michigan's got their first hit of the game. It's a solid single the opposite way from Overitis. She's aboard with 1 out in the inning, and now up steps Taylor Bump.
That's really been the story of Michigan's season so far, working out at-bats, waiting, getting their pitch, fouling pitches off if they need to, showing great plate discipline until they get the one that they want. And like we just saw there from Overitis, she got hers and did what she needed to do. Michigan on the board with a hit finally.
Taylor Bump steps up now. She lined one in the left center field gap that the center fielder Wilson ran down to begin the second inning. First pitch coming high and outside. Bump starting at third today. We've seen a couple nice putouts from her so far in the field. She's looked fundamentally sound. The one concern you'd have with her at third is the height, how able she is to bend down and play the hot corner versus her other position of first base she's played in the past. Takes a strike there, 1-1, but she's looked good in the field. Defense has looked good all around, and defense, one of those grittier parts of the game, you might say, and Carol Hutchins talked about at Media Day that she has no concern with this team's work ethic.
Yeah, this team's defenses look stellar coming into this weekend.
1-1 pitches down, 2-1.
And a lot of teams who come in to these spring training, that they struggle with the live pitching, haven't seen much, but the defense has just been really sound, just a testament to show how well Michigan is prepared coming into this season, the work that they've put in the offseason. Work they've put in indoors. When they get outside, they
2-1, bump out in front of it, and again, just like Lou Allen, a little too eager, and another pop out to short there, 2 outs. Now Hanna Carson will come out with a chance to try and get something going.
Carson's been hot all weekend. Going to look to keep that going here with a runner on, trying to start a 2-out rally.
Carson struck out looking back in the second. Michigan's been getting pitches they like, just haven't timed them up properly yet. Haven't been able to really charge any. She swings and misses there. Overitis is stealing. She slides in, out at second base.
Yeah, Overitis is pretty much dead in the water there. Got a bad jump. You know, in those cases, it's really just best to pull back. You don't have to go. Even if you are given the sign, if you get a bad jump and you know you're going to get tossed out, just live to fight another day. Take a couple steps back to first. Take a couple hard steps, get the catcher thinking, but don't go all the way.
Michigan gets their first hit of the game, but they do not strand any with the caught stealing, and we will go to the fifth. Still no score between Michigan and Fresno State. And the thing about this game so far is that there really has been no indication that either team is terribly close to scoring. I think Michigan has looked a little bit better at the plate than Fresno State, but overall, both teams a little rough offensively right now. And in these games where you've now played, 5 games in 3 days, it's all about battling, grinding these out against a really solid Fresno State team.
Yeah, Storako coming back in, looking to continue that dominant performance. 1 hit so far for Fresno State, but that 1 hit wasn't even that hard of a hit ball, just a tough play for Taylor Bump to make. She was shading in a little bit towards shortstop, maybe not as close to the bag as she would normally play, and that ball just very well placed by Galvin, able to work out that double-legged out. Michigan, though, their defense has been very sound so far. Still, again, no errors, knock on wood. But we are set to take the field here back in the top of the 5th.
Want to apologize for any internet delays in the broadcast. We are always trying to work on those, but it's just a problem that we have sometimes at USF, especially this year where they have conveniently blocked the server of our encoder service that helps get these streams up and going. We've been having to go through an iPhone hotspot for all 5 games this weekend. Hopefully we will buy a hotspot in the coming weeks to make sure that we have better connection when these issues do arise, but always working on that. First pitch, a called strike to Denby, 8-9-1. Denby, Fuller, and Wilson for Fresno State in the top of the 5th, and Denby weighs and misses there now. 0-2 the count. She struck out with 2 on to end the second inning and has not looked any better here now. 0-2 the count. She struck out on 3 pitches her first time up. Storako winds up 0-2 coming, swing and a miss, and Denby dusted again. She's taken 5 swings today and 5 misses, and a second strikeout on 3 pitches. Alicia Denby out for the second time today. That brings up Fuller. Storako now has collected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strikeouts in this ball game through 4 1/3.
And Storako had taken the exact same approach second time up against Denby as she did that first time as ball 1 goes by. Taking advantage of the weaker freshman hitter, just blowing 6 straight fastballs by her.
Fuller popped out to short her first time up to lead off the 3rd, now in a 1-0 count. Michigan has drawn the corners in ever so slightly. She fouls that one straight back. 1-1 the count. Just past the 10 o'clock hour here in Tampa.
And Fuller steps back into the box here, ready to take the 1-1. Storako spinning the ball in the right hand. Here's the windup.
Fuller fouls it back again. Storako quickly ahead, 1-2. The odd-numbered innings have been good for Storako today. 1, 2, 3 innings in the first and the third. Now is the first out here in the 5th. She's allowed a pair of base runners in both the 2nd and the 4th. Now still a pitcher out there in the Michigan bullpen. Trying to see who that is. 1-2 on the way. It's the tad inside. Looks like a right-hander. That would be Chandler Dennis down there. We saw both Essman and Bobian throwing at earlier points in the game. Storako now at 78 pitches in a 2-2 count against Fuller. Still in a very nice spot, pitch count-wise. 2-2 coming, swinging a fly ball to center field. Shallow and coming in, Hoganrod. She got a late jump and has to run all the way in, but she makes the play. That ball kind of got blown down by the wind a little bit.
Yeah, Hoganrod made the right read right away. Don't know if it was a bad jump so much as just the wind is keeping these balls up in the air. We saw it early in the game with that Lou Allen deep fly ball to left field. That ball looked like it might have gone out coming off her bat, had the speed, but as it got higher up in the air, it just got killed by the wind and eventually pulled back in. Nice read, though, and nice adjustment by Hoganrod.
Now quickly 2 outs. Beaubien's first pitch is a called strike to Wilson, the slapper. Temperature in Tampa now up to 68 degrees. Feels like exactly 68. Winds east-northeast at 11 miles an hour. It will get up to close to 80 in the afternoon, but Michigan by then hopefully will be at the airport. 0-1 coming, swinging a high fly ball into center field. Hoganrod backing up, but Thais calls her off, and a pretty routine fly out there in a 1-2-3 inning for Alex Duraco. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Still no score.
Can of corn right there.
Now the question in this game as we go to the bottom of the 5th in Tampa is who will make the first breakthrough offensively. Michigan having a team discussion outside their dugout. They do one hop all in unison. Now we'll head into the dugout and get ready to go back to work. Carson will come right back up to bat as she was in the middle of her at-bat when Overitis was thrown out in the bottom of the 4th. And Dolcini goes out to continue her warm-ups. A look around NCAA softball. Michigan, of the big teams in the Big Ten, the only one still undefeated. Minnesota and Northwestern have taken some hits thus far early on in the season. To pull up the update that I did last night.
Yeah, but overall, yesterday especially was a huge day for Michigan sports as a whole. Michigan men's basketball pulled off a nice upset against MSU. Obviously, the Michigan softball team got their 2 big wins yesterday against Florida and USF, and the hockey team won as well. If you would like to catch any other games besides Michigan softball, make sure to head on over to our YouTube channel at WCBNsports.com, YouTube.com/WCBNsports.
First pitch to Carson bounces in. You can hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Northwestern was 1-2 playing ASU last night. I believe they won that one. Minnesota 3-1 playing Kentucky today. Wisconsin 3-1 lost to Indiana State. Ohio State 2-1 lost to South Carolina. Indiana 2-3. 1-0 on the way. Carson smokes this one to center field on the run and backing up to the track and making the play is Wilson. Ran it down about 5 steps in front of the wall. A charge from Hanna Carson, but it will end as a line out to center.
Yeah, Carson just hit that one a little too straight. She had the power, was getting that one out there towards the wall. But again, that wind just dying everything down that gets up in the air. Nice piece of hitting, though, by Carson to drive that one.
Now Hoganrod comes up with 1 out. You can see Michigan's got some good swings. They've had issues with timing and finding the gaps, though. Haley steps in, drew a walk with 2 outs back in the 2nd. Takes that pitch outside 1-0. See who can get the big hit in this game and rise to the occasion.
Yeah, that last at-bat for Hoganrod was really the epitome of Michigan softball this season so far. She got down 0-2 early and worked her way back up to a walk.
1-0 inside 2-0.
We're going to look to drive this pitch as Hoganrod's going to step back into the box with the hitter's count 2-0.
Got some tropical music going on behind us. I think that's coming from the baseball team speakers.
Zach Brown Band, if I'm...
Yes,
it is, exactly.
On the inside part of the plate, 2-1. Hoganrod steps out.
Who needs Shazam when you've got me, right?
Thais Gonzalez waiting on deck, 7-8. 2-1 called strike, 2-2.
Hoganrod got up early in this at-bat, 2-0. Now with 2 strikes on her, looking to fight off anything she doesn't want to hit.
2-2 the count. The windup. The pitch way high, 3-2 now.
Don't need to worry about fighting that one off over her head.
Yep. Michigan, I mean, really, you look at their strikeouts this weekend. They've been frozen a couple times, and they've swung through pitches in the zone, but they have not really had any off-balance swings. Haven't chased anything upstairs. Full count. Strike 3 on the inside edge as Hoganrod was running on down to first base. Thought she had drawn her walk, but she's punched out by Terry Holt. Borderline pitch, tried to make a gutsy take, but couldn't quite do it, and now Thais Gonzalez will come up with 2 outs and nobody on.
Yeah, that one's tough to stomach for Hoganrod. We've been preaching how well her plate discipline has been and how good her plate vision has been.
First pitch to Thais Gonzalez is a called strike. Dolcini now at 74 pitches. This next one will be 75. She's been working through pretty easily in terms of the pitch count. Only 3 strikeouts so far, though. 2 looking, 1 swinging. 0-1 coming. Gonzalez looks at that one just a little outside. But Michigan hasn't taken a ton of pitches because they don't need to. They've gotten some pitches they like, just haven't been able to quite square them up.
Yeah, everything's been right there. They've just been missing in the very slightest faction and unable to make clean contact.
1-1, Gonzalez shoots it back. Lands off the roof, 1-2. Someone for one of these teams is going to have to come up with a big hit. It's been 1 hit for Fresno State. It was a soft double down the left field line. 1 hit for Michigan, an Overitis seeing eye single into left field. 1-2, Gonzalez lines this one into left field for a base hit right over the outstretched glove of the shortstop, Broussard. Thais now aboard, and you can see Michigan try and get her into scoring position. They've been aggressive on the base paths. Had Hoganrod steal a base to move up. Back in the second, Overitis tried to steal last inning and got thrown out. Thais Gonzalez, though, a very speedy base runner. Tried to test the arm of Preston. Natrod gets ready to step in, the number 9 hitter.
She's going to be hitting right-handed this time, switching it up a bit.
First pitch coming. She lines this one into left field, a base hit. And now Michigan, couple really nice swings, have 2 aboard on back-to-back singles into left. She got something she liked there, and now with 2 on and 2 outs, it's up to Lexi Blair to try and drive the Ducks on the pond in.
Yeah, Fresno State's going to have a little conference on the mound here. Over in the Michigan bullpen, Megan Bobian throwing a little bit, trying to stay warm.
Yeah, they might have to use her if it goes into extras, but Stracco's pitched so well that until she runs into trouble, you don't need it. Michigan now 3 hits on the game, and overall, they've definitely had the better swings than Fresno State today. And now with the runner in scoring position for the second time this morning, an opportunity for Lexi Blair to finally break this cold streak.
Yeah, Michigan finally stringing together some hits. That's 2 hits in a row, bumping their total up at 3. They went cold for a while, hadn't gotten a hit in a while.
Fresno State's left 4 on today. Michigan's left 2 on, trying not to leave 2 more on base. Blair today ground out to the pitcher and ground out to first. But she's got so much natural hitting power. First pitch, a good changeup, but it floats a little low, 1-0. 43 miles an hour. It's that glacially slow, fluttering changeup that has just danced out of the zone. Michigan has teed up the fastball last couple times. It's come through. 1-0 coming. That one's down and away, 2-0. Jimenez waiting on deck if necessary. Dolcini's run into trouble for just the second time today with runner in scoring position. This is the first time all day she's put 2 aboard in an inning.
This is a dangerous situation if you're Fresno State. 2-0 count, hitters count for Lexi Blair. Going to look to drive it.
She shows bunt, lays it down foul. Don't like that. 2-1. Maybe he's trying to draw the infield in on preparation. You want to see her swing the bat, though.
Yeah, especially on that. She got her fastball on that 2-0 count. Hitters count, you think it's going to come. She did get that fastball right down the middle and decided to lay down a bunt. Not too sure about that one.
2-1 count. Corners have now moved in a little bit. 2-1 coming, takes it inside 3-1. If it was an attempt to just draw the infield in, not a bad idea. Because now you get a little more room to work, especially the holes on the left and right side. And another hitter's count, 3-1. Dolcini winds up. The pitch, Blair lines this one right to second base. Easy play for the out. 2 singles for Michigan, but Lexi Blair can't break the skid. A 4-3 standard putout, and we will go to the 6th. Still scoreless. Michigan threatens, but do not score. They've left 4 on. Fresno State has left 4 on. Storako will go back up there as we head to the top of the 6th from Tampa. No score between Michigan and Fresno State. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports.
Looks like it is going to be Storako coming out again. Bobian still down there, though, in the bullpen in right field. Warming up, getting some throws in. But Storako, no reason to pull her yet. It's been absolutely dominant. Her pitch count has gotten up there a little bit, but they've been very low-stress pitches. She's just kind of been up there doing her thing, not having to worry about base runners too much.
Storako threw 5 innings, 1 hit allowed, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, 81 pitches. Continues to be very graceful out there in the circle. And Fresno State, unlike Michigan, hasn't really hit anything hard today. Their 1 double was a pretty softly hit ball past the glove of Taylor Bump, perfectly located to create a double. Otherwise, they've drawn some walks, had some standard high fly balls into right and center field, a couple pop outs to short, 2 ground outs to third.
No, exactly, Alex. That double was the epitome of double down the line. That ball hitting just inches away from the foul line, shooting right past Taylor Bump. Nice piece of hitting by Fresno State, but again, nothing too crazy.
They've got 2, 3, 4 up, Hall, Broussard, and Galvin. Michigan playing the infield a little in. Allen at first, Bump at third. That ball floats down and in, 1-0 the count. Lou Allen steps a couple paces back towards first, now playing about 1 step in from parallel to the bag. Bump playing 3 steps in from third. 1-0 count coming. That one tad high, 2-0. Now Allen will come in and shout a couple words of encouragement to Storako. Bobian still down there in the Michigan pen.
You could tell Hall wanted that last one. Good discipline, but you saw the step, the hips fire, the hands start to come through. Held back very last second, though.
2-0 coming, and she waves and misses. Storako fools her with the off-speed stuff. There's someone down in the Michigan bullpen doing a couple practice swings, trying to time out Bobian's deliveries. We can't see who that is. They're behind the light post, just can see the bat. Otherwise, the rest of the Michigan bench in the dugout. 2-1 on the way, fouled back, 2-2.
Hey, if you're listening down there in the Michigan bullpen, just take a step one way or the other.
We haven't seen a ton of pinch hitters this weekend. We saw Abby Skvars, and that's pretty much been the only routine pinch hitter. They used Espen just to give her a shot once the game was in hand against Florida yesterday. We've seen Audrey Leclerc pinch run for Lou Allen a couple times. That's about it. 2-2, swinging a foul back again. Otherwise, seems like a lineup is pretty much set. Obviously, Uden could pinch hit as well, but she has struggled this weekend, to say the least.
Yeah, she has struggled at the plate. She's looked very good in the field. But then again, so has Taylor Bump.
2-2 count. Storako winds up the pitch, swinging another pop-up. This one, Carson might have room for. She backs up, trying to find it, and she makes the play.
Nice
2 steps
play.
in front of the netting for the first out. A foul pop-out will bring Broussard to the plate.
Kept the mask on, too.
Yeah. Well, she didn't have a ton of time to discard it. That one popped up not too high in the sky. Tracked it down for the first out of the inning. Now Broussard comes up. She's 0 for 2 today with a strikeout swinging and a strikeout looking. Now Storako up to 85 pitches on the day as we play with 1 out in the top of the 6th. No score between these two teams. First pitch there against Broussard, just a tad outside, 1-0. Galvin waiting on deck. Storako checks the wristband, spins the ball in the right hand. 1-0 coming, glides in there for a called strike, 1-1.
Nice pitch there by Storako. She's been going to the off-speed a lot lately when she needs a strike early in the count. been working for her so far. Looking to keep that going.
1-1 count. Lined up the pitch, swinging a foul back. 1-2.
That one ripped back towards the cage.
Good cut from Broussard, trying to make contact and put a ball in play for the first time today.
Michigan defense taking their ready steps. Estracco winds up.
1-2 swing and a miss. Chased the rise ball upstairs. 2 outs in the inning, and Broussard is down on strikes for the 3rd time today. Now that'll bring up Galvin with 2 outs. Steranko now has retired 7 straight since allowing a walk to Preston in the 4th. Galvin, the only player to reach base twice today, a walk and the only hit, which was a double. Looks at the first pitch a tad high. Stracco now 92 pitches, in good position to finish out all 7. Would love it if Michigan could get 1 run for her in the bottom of the 6th. Assuming she can get Galvin out here. 1-0 coming. That one high, 2-0. Galvin has more of a compact stance, but a lot of power in the frame, it would appear. But no one has timed up Stracco well today. She's been the closest, though. 2-0 on the way, swings and fouls that one back. 2-1, 66 from Alex. 67 is the hardest we've seen from her this week, and everything in the fastball's been in a pretty tight range. 60 to 67 miles an hour. Changeup sitting around 55, according to the USF radar gun. 2-1 the count. Galvin digs back in. The windup, the pitch, just a tad high. 3-1.
Yeah, that one just above the letters there. Going to bump up the count to 3-1 like Alex just said. Again, hear the 3 balls chant coming from the Fresno State dugout.
They haven't done a ton of chants today, haven't had a lot to cheer about. 3-1 coming, called strike, freezes Galvin, who was just about to take a step towards first base. Now Carson steps in front of the plate. 3-2 to the Michigan defense, who are playing straight up.
Stracco comes back with the exact same thing that happened last time Fresno State started that chant. Throws another strike and just looks right back at him.
3-2 coming, swinging a fly ball, but well foul. That's the best hit ball all day. Had home run distance, but nowhere close to in play.
Yeah, that one's over in the bushes, like behind us even.
Florida Gators have arrived, and they've gotten off the team bus, starting to do their warm-ups. This game running ahead of schedule, just about the 10:30 hour. 3-2 coming. Galvin swings, pops this one up in the infield, right to Natalia Rodriguez. She makes the play. 8 in a row, sat down by Alex Stracco. Another 1-2-3 inning. Michigan's offense looking for a run in the bottom of the 6th. Game tied at 0. And Jimenez, Allen, Overitis coming up. This feels like the opportunity to do it if Michigan wants to put a run on the board and put themselves 3 outs away from the win. We especially saw that last half inning. 2 really good swings from Gonzalez and Rodriguez. If they can get these power hitters to line them up the way that 2 slappers were, that could be the rally Michigan needs.
Yeah, it really seems like Michigan has timed her up so far, or at least starting to.
Michigan 3 hits on the game, and they've all come in the last 2 innings. It's that second time through the order definitely bearing more fruits for the Michigan offense. Now the 3rd time through.
Michigan in the team huddle just breaking now. Looks like it's going to be Juju Jimenez coming up to the plate. The freshman, number 17, looking to start Michigan off. Due up for the Wolverines is going to be Jimenez, Lou Allen, then Overitis coming up at that 3rd spot.
Jimenez today, 2 really good at-bats, drew a walk and then pounded a ball right at 3rd base. And it was caught out of the air by Fuller, snagging 2 bags away from Jimenez. She came up with 2 outs in the 3rd when she hit that ball. Now here trying to get Michigan's first extra base hit. Just get on base, period, and allow Allen and Overitis to come to the plate with the runner on. Jimenez gets ready to step in there. Dolcini steps back on the rubber, 83 pitches today. First one coming is high. Ball hasn't had to take a ton of pitches because they've overall liked what they've seen. 1-0 count. Jimenez stands with the front foot parallel to the front of the home plate. That pitch right down the tube for a called strike, 1-1.
Yeah, that's just a nice pitch there. Hit the outside corner.
Now Dolcini gets ready to step on and fire this one away. Checks the wristband, fiddles with the ball, delivers that one in the dirt, 2-1. Not much movement on that off-speed pitch, kind of just died. 51 miles an hour. They're actually one of the harder off-speed deliveries we've seen today. Hers has often been in the mid-40s. A really stark change of pace. 2-1 count. Wind up, and Jimenez laces this one into center field, but straight at Wilson and lands in the glove.
Looks like Dolcini is done for the day. Looks like you have a new pitcher out there. Going to try to pull up a number for you right there.
Let's take a look at the Fresno State roster. Yeah, that looks like Danielle Lung. It was not announced, and the stat broadcast has not updated. That's a good find right there. Number 20 is out in the circle, and perhaps an astute pitching change, noticing that Dolcini was starting to get hit a little harder in the third time coming up. Allen takes the first pitch inside, 1-0. As a reminder about that game last night, if this game is going into extras, we will use the tiebreaker rule, where a runner will be placed on second to begin the extra innings and beyond. 1-0 coming, called strike to Lou Allen. Michigan would love to just end this game before they have to go to that. They'll get 2 more chances to hit before we go to extras, including this frame here in the bottom of the 6th. Lou Allen peers in at the pitcher, Danielle Lung. 1-1 inside.
Good lead
2-1
there by Lou Allen. Lou has been able to show off her power today. We saw that back in that first inning with that deep fly ball towards left field. The wind has died down a little bit. That lends to her power, looking to drive this 2-1 pitch.
2-1 coming, I guess just a little low. That one looked pretty solid.
Lou now stepping back into the box with 1 out and a hitter's count. Going to be looking fastball here.
3-1 on the way. That's a called strike right at the letters, 3-2. Good comeback pitch there from Danielle Lung, and the count runs full on Lou Allen trying to get aboard. You have to think if Lou can draw a walk or get a hit here, they will pinch run Leclerc for her like they've done much of this weekend. Overitis waiting on deck. 3-2 coming, the windup. The pitch, swing and a ball hit foul right over towards the dugout of Fresno State. Lou just out a little in front of that one. 0 for 2 today. She flew out to the warning track back in the first and was out in front of one, popped it up to short in the 4th. Now hitting here in the 6th. And a no-score ball game. Full count one more time. She swings and misses badly on a changeup at just 49 miles an hour. Not sure if that was going to be a strike, kind of fluttered upstairs. Now 2 outs, and Morgan Overitis ready to check in.
Yeah, that last pitch looked like Lou kind of bailed out early, and then when she realized last second that it was going to be a strike, kind of just threw her hands at it and hoped to do something.
Yeah, not a good-looking swing there. By far the worst swing really from Michigan batter all weekend. Called
yeah, I was
strike.
just about to say, pretty much every swing from a Michigan Wolverine has been a good quality swing. That one, Lou just seemed a little caught off guard.
Now Overitis steps in. She's 1 for 2 today. A strikeout and a single. Danielle Lung, a 3.34 ERA last season. She throws that one away as it goes over the head of the catcher. She had a 1.60 whip. Last year, Dolcini got the most innings and had by far the best ERA at 2.21. Did a good job here today. Lung, more of a contact pitcher. 92 strikeouts in 128 innings last year, a whip of 1.6. Michigan, in theory, should have more success against her. 1-1, and that changeup in the dirt, 50 miles an hour, and Overritis waves over it. But the thing about a pitching change is now Michigan has to adjust to a new hurler.
Yeah, exactly. They just settled into their groove, had the fastball timed up, had the off-speed timed up, and now a new pitcher. Good pitching change by Fresno State to switch it up.
1-2 on the way. Overritis looks at it just a little high. 2-2 the count. Fresno State used just 3 pitchers a year ago: Dolcini, Long, and East. So far this year, Long been pretty darn good. 7 innings, 5 hits, 12 strikeouts, no runs. And Overritis swings, hits this one into right field.
Just due to the fact that Overritis got a very bad jump. Don't know why she continued to run.
1-0 coming. Another one high, 2-0. There is a pitcher throwing down in the Fresno State bullpen, and coming out to have a conversation will be the catcher, Preston, in the circle. My guess is that is Danielle East down there in the pen. Lexi Webb, also a pitcher, as is Dariana Orme. Trying to see what arm that pitcher is throwing with. Looks to be a lefty, which would make sense. It would be Danielle East. Fresno State got to try and figure it out. With this meeting going on in the circle, we want to remind you that you can donate to us on WCBN.org. There is a donate tab. If you follow us on Twitter, we are doing a fundraiser starting next week, and you can have an opportunity to donate specifically for sports next weekend. We'll be tweeting out those links at the time. 2-0 coming to Taylor Bump. She takes that one low, 3-0. If you also email me at ajdrain@umich.edu, I can help you out in figuring out how to donate properly, but we appreciate any donations to keep these softball road trips going. 3-0 coming to Taylor Bump. She steps out and takes a called strike. 3-1. We are going to have a crew in Evanston in Big Ten play in Northwestern. Might send a crew to Madison to take on the Badgers in late April. This is the only planned early season trip, though. 3-1 on the way. Bump takes it down and away, and now Michigan's got 2 aboard for Hanna Carson, as Long has run into some issues here with 2 outs. A single from Overritis. And now Bump draws a walk. Hanna Carson today, strikeout looking and a line out to center. She's come through in the clutch at different points this weekend. With Overritis on second, pretty speedy. She'll be going on contact. Carson can put it in the outfield. She might be able to put Michigan on top and put Alex Duraco 3 outs away from a victory. Now going out there to talk in the circle is Preston with Dolcini, Bonnie Thole, and Carol Hutchins chatting about alignments. We might have a pinch runner coming for Overritis. Someone has stepped out of the dugout, and that does appear to be Audrey Leclerc. I have to see the number, but from our angle, that's what it looks like. And yep, it is going to be Leclerc coming in for Overritis. 25 coming in for 24. As Morgan goes to the dugout. Now with the speed of Leclerc on second, absolutely, you'll have an opportunity to score a run. With a single here from Hanna Carson. 2 on and 2 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Michigan, Fresno State tied at 0. Wolverines trying to finally get first blood. First pitch coming to Hanna Carson is just a tad high. Top of the zone has gotten tight here in the bottom of the 6th. And Long has started to miss her spots a little bit. Michigan now 4 hits. Fresno State with 1. Wolverines have left 4 on today, trying not to leave 2 more on. 1-0 coming. Carson out in front of it, loops it into foul ground, but it will drop foul. 1-1 the count.
Leclerc showing off the speed there. She was pretty much at home plate by the time that ball landed.
Carson, the sophomore catcher, has collected her fair share of RBIs this weekend, trying to collect at least 1 more here. 2 outs in the inning. Michigan had a fly out to center, a strikeout swinging to begin this inning. 1-1 coming is down and away, 2-1.
Carson looking real confident up there in that box. She knows she wants to drive this next pitch that she gets close. She's going to be swinging away.
Danielle Long, a righty from Clovis, California, and Clovis High School, all Mountain West second team a year ago. 2-1 coming, swinging a ground ball right to third, and gloved, tapped the bag, and they get out of the inning. Fuller makes the play. Fielder's choice ends the frame. Michigan threatens but does not score. They've left 6 on. Now Storako will go out to hold serve again. This game getting tense right now. But if you're Michigan, you still feel comfortable just because of how dominant Storako has been today.
Yeah, absolutely. Fresno State hasn't really been able to do anything against Storako. That one hit they have just coming based strictly on location of the ball. Nothing Storako or the defense could do.
And especially Alex has sat down 8 in a row. She's at 98 pitches, but does not seem to be tiring yet. Abby Skvars goes out there to help warm up Storako as Carson's got to put the gear back on, having been the last out of the inning. We're just at 10:40 now. This game started at 9 o'clock sharp, and making really good time due to the nature of this pitcher's duel. 5 hits, 10 combined runners left on. And again, if we go to extras, the tiebreaker rule will be in effect, which in theory could favor Michigan just because Storako, the strikeout pitcher, is what you need with tiebreaker rules where you have the runner on second to begin the frame. Yesterday, Michigan got a little fortunate when the first batter up for USF popped up a bunt. They couldn't move the runner over to third, and then with 2 slappers up, Megan Bobian came through in the clutch with a strikeout looking and a strikeout swinging to close out that game after the Wolverines had taken a 2-1 lead in the top of the 8th, and a bloop single into left from Overitis. It'll be Preston, Rollader, and Jennings here. 5, 6, 7 in the top of the 7th. There's a called strike to start it off. 12 goose eggs on the board in the line score.
Nice pitch there by Storako going high and away. Barely clipping the edge of that zone. That's a nice pitch. Tough pitch to read.
0-1 count. That one flutters down and in, 1-1. The Gators out there all standing up, just stretching. Don't really know what happened to Georgia State, who were out there at one point in time. Not sure where they went.
Looks like they're sitting on the bleachers. They're wearing their gray warm-ups, looks like.
Pitch high, 2-1. Yeah, they are wearing those gray uniforms.
Now I'm with Florida on this one. I need to stretch out a little bit.
2-1 the count. Preston stands in there waiting for this pitch. There's a called strike. Frozer with the changeup, and she just looks at it. Preston today 0 for 1 with a walk. Storako seated 3 base on balls, 9 strikeouts through 6 innings. Now in a 2-2 count. The windup, the pitch, swing, and a pop-up foul, and it will get out of the stadium and into the parking lot.
Yeah, that ball is out of here. That thing is rolling away like a can of Chef Boyardee ravioli from the commercial.
Just pops over the railing. 2-2 count. Storako winds up. That one, rise ball, and Preston was able to lay off of it. Now the count runs full.
Couldn't get her quite to chase on that one. That one a little higher than usual.
Fresno State would love to get the leadoff runner on, try to create some action on the base paths here in the top of the 7th after they've been dormant the last couple frames. Full count pitch. The wind-up swing and a foul back. Stays in a full count. Rollader waiting on deck. This game has continued along. Another tense one here this weekend. Michigan's gotten in a lot of tight battles this weekend. Really competitive action. Megan Bobian still down there in the Michigan bullpen. 3-2, another foul back. This is a long at-bat now.
Yeah, should this one go into extras, Bobian might need to come and relieve Storako. Storako looking good right now, but the pitch count is getting up there. She's over 100 now on the day.
Yeah, and we don't know what exactly the career high is for Storako in pitches. We haven't seen her go into the 150s plus in my memory, the way we have seen with Beaubien. 3-2 coming, and that rise ball is high. A leadoff walk for Fresno State, and they're trying to get something going here. We'll see if a pinch runner comes in. And immediately coming out for Fresno State is Linda Garza, and it looks like we are going to have a change of some kind. That looks to be number 0.
00.
Coming out of the dugout. She's talking with the coaches. That would be Cuevas Iniguez. And she will go down there to first base, and now the pitching change is going to be made. Storako is coming out. Beaubien is coming in. Storako exits this game at about 103 pitches.
Storako exits to a round of applause and cheers from the Michigan fans. Great outing for Storako. Only gave up 1 hit through 6 innings.
She'll go 6+, 1 hit, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts. She's on the hook for the runner on first. And we'll see if Megan Beaubien can clean this up. Send the game to the bottom of the 7th, still tied. Beaubien yesterday, very good against USF. 8 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, just 1 run against. And Beaubien will get her warm-up pitches. Michigan, they come to these tournaments early in the year. You want to start getting some experience. And no better experience than some tight games here on the opening weekend of the 2020 season. Michigan trying to avoid dropping a game that would certainly leave a sour taste in their mouth, trying to go 5-0 and sweep the weekend, head back to Ann Arbor.
Absolutely, that'd be huge for the Wolverines to be a great start to the season. Great start to this 2020 campaign towards the NCAA tournament. With this breaking the action, we would like to thank you for listening here on WCBN Sports on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor, and also over on YouTube on the WCBN Sports Radio channel. Make sure, if you are listening on YouTube, to click that subscribe button and make sure to click that little notification bell to be notified anytime we go live, not only for softball but for other sports as well. We love having you guys over here listening on the channel. We really appreciate your support. That being said, we are set to go here as Beaubien takes a couple more practice throws and steps into the circle.
Rollader, Jennings, and Demby, the next 3 to come up. Cuevas down there at first. She's in a track stance. Bunt shown, but a wave and a miss. Strike 1 for Megan Beaubien.
Beaubien had way out there on that.
Yeah. Beaubien had a tough game against Illinois State. Labored through 5 innings. Storako had to come in for the save. Very sharp yesterday against USF. Infield drawn in and expecting a bunt. Bunt shown again. Popped up in the air, but it's going to drop in perfectly, and everyone's going to be safe. It lands between Beaubien, Jimenez, and Allen. No one called it off. Now runners at first and second, and have to think another bunt could be coming, and that one just misplayed. And we've seen very questionable defense. Really the only part of the Michigan defense that has struggled has been Beaubien in the circle on these bunts. She tried to make a miraculous play on a dive on a bunt yesterday when she should have just fielded it on the ground. And right there, miscommunication in the infield. That bunt was a gift to the Wolverines. And 3 players converge. No one calls for it, and it drops in. Now things get stressful.
Yeah, very awkwardly placed bunt.
Jennings coming to the plate. And it looks like a pinch hitter has moved into the on-deck circle. For Denby, who has really struggled, that's Vanessa Hernandez on deck. And no bunt shown. That pitch is low. Looks like they're going to let Jennings swing. She might square for another one. And wait a second.
Yeah,
they have called that out.
Yeah,
a batter's interference.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because I looked and we only had 1 runner on.
That was not signaled very well at all. So it totally changes the situation. Now a called strike, 1-1. 1 out in the inning, called out on batter's interference. And that is something that we have complained about here at WCBN Sports in the past. The lack of communication a lot of times between the umpires and ourselves here on Media Row about what's going on. 1-1 coming, swinging a foul back, 1-2. I did not see any batter's interference. Obviously, the bunt, the concern would be leaving the batter's box early, as Natalie Peters sometimes had problems with for Michigan, but instead 1-2 the count, 1 out, and Michigan is let off the hook.
No, I think that's probably what it was. I mean, we saw Roeder almost running into Taylor Bump on the one bunt that she fouled off backwards. She's been way out of the batter's box. That's probably what the call was there.
1-2 count. The pitch right down Broadway for a called strike 3, and now 2 outs in the inning.
But either case, especially with the strikeout there for Beaubien, very lucky break for the Michigan Wolverines. Now 2 outs with only 1 runner on, and that runner not even in scoring position yet.
And the entire complexion of this inning has changed with that batter's interference. Now the pinch hitter, Hernandez, ready to come in. Vanessa Hernandez, standing at 5'10", from Sanger, California. Pinch hitting for Denby, which is a very astute decision in our mind, because Alicia Denby has had a couple really bad at-bats so far. Hernandez, a sophomore, a year of experience compared to Denby. The runner on first and 2 outs.
Yeah, Denby just looked completely outmatched against Jericho.
Yep. Here in the top of the 7th, no score in this game. Beaubien winds up. The pitch, called strike. Cuevas still down there at first. Haven't seen any indication that she's going to steal yet. They tried to move her up on that fateful bunt that got called out on a batter's interference. 0-1. 66 miles an hour. Beaubien on that fastball has looked pretty sharp since coming in. 0-1, swinging a ground ball right to first base. Allen gloves it, taps the bag, and that will end the inning. So ground out to first unassisted. Michigan will send the bats up there. 1 run, and they will win this ball game.
That's unlucky there for Fresno State. Hernandez unhappy with that one. That one seemed to be a check swing that just rode in on her hands and kind of just shot right down the line. Luckily for us, it stayed in play. Llewellyn making a nice play there to clean that one up and bring us to the bottom of the 7th. Michigan just 1 run away from a win.
Hoganrod, Gonzalez, and Rodriguez slated to come up. You could see a pinch hitter, though, for Thais Gonzalez. That's where Abby Skvars has pinch hit quite a bit this weekend. But we'll see if Michigan can get something rolling. Danielle Long ran into issues in that 6th inning, her first inning of work, surrendering a walk and a single, but got out of it with the fielder's choice to third base off the bat of Carson.
Yes, Skvars 2 for 2 on the weekend. Wouldn't be too surprised to see her here. Looks like Thais Gonzalez is going to come out into the on-deck circle, though. She is suited up, ready to go.
She did single her last time up. She's 1 for 2 on the day, as is Natalia Rodriguez. Hoganrod 0 for 1 with the walk. All 3 players have gotten aboard, though, in the 7, 8, 9 spot. They've been pretty darn good this weekend. It's been the top of the order with Blair that has struggled. The middle's been terrific, and the bottom's been pretty darn good. This Michigan team. Again, tiebreaker rules we expect to come into effect in the 8th inning.
Hopefully we don't need it, though.
Yep, Michigan wants to end it here and get on the team bus. Just under 2 hours having been played in this game at 10:54 hour Eastern time. Long winds up, the first pitch on the way. Hoganrod sees it for a called strike.
And nice pitch there, strike right at the knees.
Hoganrod steps back into the batter's box. A couple doubles yesterday against Florida. Would like one of those right here. 0-1 coming, she cuts and misses on a rise ball out of the zone, 0-2. See a swing for the fences right there from Bailey Hoganrod, just didn't track it well. Michigan no runs on 4 hits, they've left 6 aboard. Fresno State no runs on 1 hit, have left 5 aboard. The windup and the 0-2, she swings, lines this one into the glove of the first baseman, Denby. That looked like it was going to go foul.
Yeah, it definitely was. Unlucky break there for Haley Hoganrod, but very nice play over there by Denby at first.
Little late swing, poked it down the first base side, and Denby, who's been reinserted into the game, comes across the line and snags it out of midair. Now Thais Gonzalez to the plate with 1 out. Gonzalez comes up with Natalia Rodriguez on deck. Gonzalez looks at a called strike. Michigan bench still energetic, leading their chance, while the Fresno State dugout pretty subdued. They haven't been into it much this game. They only have one hit on the day. Long spins the ball in the right hand. The windup, the 0-1. Thais shows bunt, pulls it back, and it bounces well outside.
Really late show there from Gonzalez.
Yeah, tried to catch Demby and Fuller off guard. They came in. Once that bunt was finally shown, they retreat. First base playing parallel to the bag. Third base 3 or 4 steps in at the line. 1-1, Gonzalez swings and cuts it right back to the screen. 1-2, 67 miles an hour there from Long. Michigan looking for someone to be the hero and send them home with the perfect record intact. Fresno State looking for an upset here. 1-2, the count on Thais Gonzalez. The windup, the pitch, she swings, pops this one up in foul ground, and it will drop between 2 different players as Fuller at third and Broussard at short were running over. Neither could make the play, and it drops in the grass. Gonzalez stays alive.
Good fight up here at the plate by Gonzalez, following off that 1-2 pitch.
Nat Rod on deck. 1-2 count. The windup, the pitch in the dirt, 2-2.
That one seemed like it rolled the entire way to the plate, very low in the ground.
If Michigan were to go down 1-2-3, the Nat Rod would be the one to be placed on second in the bottom of the 8th. That's who you would want, but obviously you'd much prefer to just win the game here. 2-2 coming. Thais lines this one on one hop to second. And a glove.
Nice play.
And a throw over. Defense today from Fresno State has been very strong.
Yeah, like you said, though, if Michigan was to go down 1-2-3, there's nobody you'd really like on the Michigan team on second base better than Nat Rod. She's got the wheels.
Now you really have a couple speedy players in a row here with Nat Rod, then Blair. Lexi was the one who was placed on second last night. Bunted over by Jimenez. They intentionally walked Lou Allen, singled in by Overitis with runners on the corners and 1 out. There's a called strike to Rodriguez on the outer edge.
Yeah, Rodriguez in the right-hander's batter's box showing bunt there, pulled back last second with a pitch called a strike anyway.
0-1 the count. And that pitch down and away, 1-1 the count. Rodriguez steps out of the batter's box, comes in to readjust. 1 career home run for Natalia Rodriguez, but it was a big one against Washington last year. Ended up being the game winner. One of the most shocking hits of last season. 1-1 count. Takes that one just a tad low, 2-1. Fresno State this weekend, 3-1. They dispatched Georgia State 5-0. Dispatched Illinois State 3-0. Beat South Florida 3-2. Lost narrowly to Florida 6-4 in a game where they had the winning run on in the bottom of the 7th and stranded it. 2-1 coming is inside. 3-1. But Fresno State has played really good softball this weekend. Really nice pitching, including in this game.
And yeah, Fresno State just looked very solid all weekend long.
And they are battling with Michigan here, but a 3-1 count. Rodriguez trying to get aboard. She goes over to talk to Hutches. There's a meeting in the circle. Preston going out there to have a quick chat. Lexi Blair on deck talking with Bonnie Thole about how to approach it if Nat Rod can get on base and send Lexi to the plate. Have to think Michigan would be aggressive in that situation on the base paths as they have been all game long. 3-1. The count on Rodriguez, ready to dig back in against Danielle Long here in her second inning of work in the bottom of the 7th. 3-1 coming. She swings, grounds this one over to short. Going to have to be a quick play from Broussard. Throw across the diamond is in time and gets her by a quarter step. And we will go to extras.
Yeah, that one was really close. Nat Rod trying to leg that one out. Barely, just barely didn't get there. But we will see her again next inning starting on second base. If you're Michigan, that's not the worst case.
And now Abby Skvarsk goes out there to warm Bobian up, and we assume a runner will be placed on second. That's how the game was played last night, so I have to think it's going to be how it's played here today. In that case, it would be Demby on second, as Fresno State had a big meeting in front of their dugout. Megan Bobian pitched through a tiebreaker situation last night without allowing a run. It would be Demby on second and Fuller at the plate. Number 4 has stepped out of the dugout, though. Trying to see what number that is on the roster. Number 4 would be Adriana Noriga. There's a conversation between the coaching staff and Linda Garza with the home plate umpire Terry Holt. That's Fresno State ready to go back out there.
This extra innings, even with a runner on second base, does bode well for Michigan. Fresno State has had very little production at the plate. They only have 1 hit as a team and haven't put too many balls in play that have done damage.
Yep. Now, running on out there is Alicia Demby. She will stand on second. The pinch hitter, Noriga, will step in. Runner on second. Nobody out. Tiebreaker rules in effect. Top of the 8th inning. Fresno State 1 hit today. You can bunt them over, but unless Michigan gives a wild pitch, they'll have to score the run by putting a ball in play. And they have struggled to do that today, have the Fresno State Bulldogs.
Yeah, especially with Megan Bobian on the mound.
Bobian got a couple clutch strikeouts with a runner on second last night to win that game. Needs to do that here, have to think. Bunt will be shown by Noriga, and the corners pulled in for the Wolverines. Bobian winds up. Bunt shown. It is laid down well. Bump gets to it. Throw across is in time. Runner moves up to third. The sack does its job. Runner down to third, but now someone for Fresno State's going to have to make a play. And they go to the top of their order with Wilson and then Hall, who are a combined 0 for 6 today.
If I'm Fresno State with the lefty Hall, I almost say lay down another bunt. Try to get one right down a line.
Yeah, squeeze is a possibility. And the corners are pulled in yet again on Wilson. 0 for 3 on the day. Pop out, fly out, ground out. A fly out to right would be nice here for the Bulldogs. First pitch coming right down the middle for a called strike, and the slapper looks at it. Wilson obviously is the kind of player who could put a ball in play as a slap hitter. And Bobian's going to do her best to paint the edges. Try to get a strikeout. That's always your goal with a runner on third and less than 2 outs.
Had the whole infield playing in.
0-1 count. Tense moment here. That one on the outside edge, just off the plate, 1-1. You can see Bobian
frame by Carson
painting the corners, and that's the thing that Bobian does very well in comparison to Storako, is she can just artfully paint the edges. Has had pinpoint command yesterday and today. Yeah, sometimes she gets the call, sometimes she doesn't, but she's hitting her spots.
Exactly. Yesterday didn't work out too well for her. She was getting squeezed, but the command is fantastic.
1-1 fouled off, 1-2. Now she's ahead in the count, and she can use that changeup to her advantage. She went to it there at 49. Now the decision here, do you go back to her, or do you just try to pump it by Wilson?
Yeah, that is the real question here.
1-2 count. Wilson digs back in. Bobian checks the wristband. Allen and Bump drawn in, as are Rodriguez and Jimenez at short and second. The windup, the 1-2. Just off the plate. Man, Terry Holt looked at that one a long, long time. Bobian hit that spot again, and that's a perfect pitch because there's nothing that Wilson can do with it. She's either fouling it off, swinging and missing, or taking a really gutsy pitch right on the edge, and she decided to take it there. 2-2 the count. The windup, the pitch, hits the spot again, and she missed it again. 3-2.
I don't think you can even call that missing. That ball,
I mean,
she's about as close to the corner as you could get.
She's putting it exactly where she's wanting it, and she's just getting squeezed right now, and Wilson is leaving her fate up to Terry Holt, and she's gotten rewarded twice in a row. 3-2 the count now. The windup, the payoff pitch, swing and a ground ball over to second, no play, but the runner has to stay at third on an infield single.
Risky play there, but what a play by Juju Jimenez, coming up barehanding that ball, hopping up the middle. Third base coach for Fresno State frustrated with that one. If you're Fresno State, that's got to be a run.
Yeah, I mean, if they send the runner on third, Denby, home, she's probably out. You make a play at least, but Jimenez got to that ball with the bare hand, and Denby just kind of froze over at third. The slapper puts it in play, but the runner's not able to come home. So now runners on the corners, one out, and Beaubien can go back to it, try to carve out a strikeout, and it's got to be a frustrating at-bat.
Yeah, you got to think, though, any ball put in the middle of the field or on the right side of the infield, you got to be going on contact. Unless that ball is right at you, you've got to get on your horse and go. Fresno State needs runs here. That's only their second hit of the game. That one more of a fielder's choice than anything.
And, you know, if you're Megan Beaubien, it's just a frustrating at-bat there because you get up 1-2, you put the ball exactly where you want it 2 pitches in a row, and you get squeezed off the edge. Then you have to put it over the plate in 3-2, and just a sort of tough chopper in the infield. Hall and Broussard slated to come up are a combined 0 for 6. Broussard in particular, 3 strikeouts. Hall, 1 strikeout, 1 ground out to third, and 1 foul pop-up to the catcher Carson as we play here in the 8th.
We'll see how the Wolverines...
Infield in again. Bunt shown and a called strike. Runner moves up to second. An attempted double steal. Hanna Carson has to just hold on to it, and now 2 runners in scoring position. Fresno State trying to get a big hit to win this game. 0-1 count.
Yeah, Fresno State really did Michigan's work for him there, deciding whether or not they're going to play back for the double play. Since runners are now on second and third, infield can play in and just worry about that out at home.
And this is where you want the strikeout. You're not focusing on really anything else. Either a pop-out or a strikeout. 0-1 count. Beaubien winds up. The pitch, swing, and a pop-up foul, arcing and bounces off the roof into the concourse. Now ahead 0-2. Looking for that big K right here.
Yeah, this is again where Beaubien's going to be trying to paint those corners. Hopefully this time she doesn't get squeezed like she did last time. But as we know, her locating ability has been fantastic. She's going to hit her spot. She's not going to miss.
0-2 count. Looks into the dugout. Jen Brundage checks the wristband. Stepping back in there is Hall. The windup. The 0-2 up high. Rise ball and a good job to lay off. Wilson on second. Denby on third. 1-2 count. What does Beaubien go to here? The windup. The pitch. Swing and a miss.
Nice pitch.
Went to the changeup and down on strikes is Hall. A goofy off-balance swing. And now 2 outs in the inning. And now Beaubien can attack her any way she wants. Broussard yet to put a ball in play today.
Maddie Uden is hyped up. She came out of that dugout screaming and cheering for her team. She wants this win as much as anybody does.
So now Beaubien can lay off a little bit. Defense moves back. Broussard takes a called strike on the inside part of the plate. Allen and Bump still pulled in at the corners, but Rodriguez and Jimenez have backed off, playing straight up, no longer in run prevention mode. You're just in get him out mode. However, it can come. The threat of a squeeze as the corners pulled in ever so slightly. The windup. The 0-1 coming. Broussard checks her swing. Did she go? Mike Burwell says no. And a huge block from Hanna Carson
I was just about to say, great block by Carson. Getting down, getting dirty, stopping that one.
Beaubien steps back on the rubber. Checks the wristband. Looks in at Broussard. 1-1 count. 2 on, 2 out. Top of the 8th. Tie game. between Michigan and Fresno State. Beaubien winds up. The pitch, swing and a miss.
Nice pitch by Beaubien, just blowing it by the batter there.
And now Linda Garza is going to walk out and talk to the home plate umpire, Terry Holt. She's got her card out like she's going to make a substitution. Not sure why you would wait until there's 2 strikes and 2 outs. I don't know if there's going to be a pinch runner. You haven't seen anyone coming out of the dugout. Holt hasn't signaled anything either.
Yeah, not really too sure what's going on there.
1-2 the count. Beaubien 1 strike away from escaping the top of the 8th.
Got lots of claps and cheers coming from the Michigan side of the stadium in the Michigan dugout as Beaubien winds up here.
1-2, swing and a line drive right into the glove of Lou Allen at first.
What
and
a play.
Beaubien is fired up. A liner and right at Lou Allen. And Michigan has kept Fresno State off the board, and now they'll put a runner on second to lead off the inning with the tiebreaker rule. And if they can move her 2 bags up, they'll go home happy.
Lou Allen is all business right now. She caught that ball and walked right to that dugout. She's ready to win this game. Huge, huge play by Lou Allen. That's the game-saving catch right there.
Yep, and it really didn't take any effort. It just took heads-up ability to find that ball because she was standing right in the perfect spot, and it just landed in her glove.
She was standing right there, but that ball was ripped.
Yeah, it was smoked. Broussard not put a ball in play today, and she did right there in a major way. And so Natalia Rodriguez will be placed on second. Lexi Blair at the plate. I have to think Lexi was very comfortable bunting. Will go up there to move the runner up, and then it'll be up to Juju and Allen to try and bring in the winning run. Michigan, the home team, will walk it off if the run can come in, as we have now hit the 11:10 hour. Really tight game between these 2 teams. Nothing coming easy this weekend for Michigan, but they're 4-0 on the weekend, trying to make it 5-0. Fresno State trying to leave this weekend 4-1. So Rodriguez goes out there, stands on second. Blair ready to come up. Lexi today 0 for 3. 3 balls on the ground and 3 outs recorded. 1 to the pitcher, 1 to first, and 1 to second. But Lexi does have that speed to beat one out if it's a perfect bunt. But obviously, if she is bunting, the most important thing just getting it down, moving the runner up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Lexi's going to do her job, move a run over here, and then Juju's going to walk one off. I'm feeling it. I can feel it in my bones.
Blair stands in, lefty hitter against the righty pitcher Lung in the bottom of the 8th. No score. Blair squares to bunt. She lays it down, but it goes just foul. Landed inside the fair territory, and then a lot of backspin as it spun into foul ground.
Yeah, that bunt was placed about as perfectly as you could get, right on the third baseline. But sadly, backspin, like you said, takes that one out of bounds. 0-1 count. Probably going to see another bunt attempt here from Lexi.
She'll try it again, and instead it's way high. Rodriguez dancing off the bag. Shortstop Broussard runs over to cover third. She's ready to move in as the third baseman Fuller pulled way in at the line. Demby in about 8 steps in from first. And Rollader playing straight up at second. Lung winds up. 1-1 coming. Blair shows bunt again, pulls it back, and down and away. Lung trying to force Lexi into a bad bunt attempt. And the Let's Go Blue chants being started by the Michigan dugout. Runner on second, nobody out in the inning with the tiebreaker rules in effect between Michigan and Fresno State. Wolverines won it in 8 innings last night. We'll see if they can do it again here today. Blair squares to bunt that one down and away. And now Lung is struggling. She's trying to get Blair to make a bad bunt attempt, but these pitches aren't close.
No, exactly. After that first bunt attempt from Lexi on that 0 count, she hasn't been able to find the zone at all. Everything's been low and away, or at least high up in the zone.
Ideally, if you're the pitcher, as we saw with Beaubien last night, you want to buzz them up and force those pop-ups. These last 2 have been down and outside. Nothing even remotely tempting to Blair. Jimenez on deck.
No, exactly. That ball, if it's up in the zone, that's the best case scenario for you because you will get that pop-up.
The windup, the 3-1. Blair squares again, and that one is down and away. Blair draws a walk, ball 4. She moves on up to first base. Now 2 on and nobody out. They only need 1. And Jimenez will come up and presumably will try the exact same thing, because you'd love to have a runner on third with one out for a contact hitter like Lou Allen.
You'd love to have anybody on when you got Lou Allen up.
So Jimenez will step in. Runners on a first and second still. Squaring to bunt again, lays one down and it goes foul. Straight back. Not a great looking attempt right there.
Nah, she immediately turned to Hutch at third base and kind of tapped her chest and said, "My bad."
Yeah.
She knew she missed that one.
Looked a little off balance in that bunt attempt. She was lining the bat up, and it's kind of awkward bunting stance from her. Squares down, getting the knees low. Now puts it forward again. She lays that one straight down on home plate, and now 2 strikes. That's been the issue both times, is she's not getting it lined up well. She's getting it on the bottom of the bat, and it's just going straight down onto home plate. And now it comes down to, does Hutch trust Jimenez enough to let her try one more time?
No, just let her swing. 2 strikes, that bunt goes foul. She's going to be out.
0-2 pitch. Letting her swing, and she swings and misses. That ball in the dirt, and Jimenez just looked totally off on that entire at-bat.
Yeah, off-speed caught her guessing there.
Yeah, you might not want to make Juju bunt again. That did not look like her forte, regardless of her speed. But now Lou Allen comes up. Lou today,
My
0
expert
for 3.
analysis here, I don't think we're going to see Lou bunt.
Runner on second. You could try and see a double steal. Would be a gutsy attempt. Allen takes the first pitch low. You've also got Overitis on deck, who is 2 for 3 today. You're going to get 2 good hitters up there with a chance to win this game. Lung is missing right now. She walked Blair and is down in the count 1-0. Got bailed out by Jimenez. The 1-0, she smokes this one into left, but it goes well foul as she was out in front of the changeup that fluttered in there at just 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, Lou way early on that one. Pulls that one over into the bushes.
A lot of Florida fans have now filed into the stadium. They're waiting for their Gators to come up in the game after this one. Both teams playing their final game of the weekend right here. They'll head off to the airports to go back to the Midwest and the West Coast, respectively. 1-1 coming. Allen takes it down and in, 2-1. Quick throw back to Natrod, and she just does get in there. Trying to catch her sleeping was Preston, and made a dangerously close play as Rodriguez just taps her foot back on the base. And now conversation going to come out in the circles. They can tell Lung is struggling to find the zone. And a different coach will come out and talk to the infield, and a third coach will go out and talk to the outfield. A full coaching conversation. Bonnie Thole chatting with Lexi Blair at first, and
Somebody go talk to the dugout. Just hit all 4 aspects.
well, there is one coach still sitting in the dugout holding a clipboard, sitting on a bucket. And Michigan dugout singing along to Don't Stop Believin', making all Red Wings fans proud with the South Detroit scream from the dugout. Now Allen checks back into the batter's box, 2-1 count, Michigan fans clapping. The windup, that pitch is low and in the dirt. Check swing did not go, says Mike Burwell. 3-1, and Lung is on the verge of loading the bases with only 1 out. Morgan
This is a
Overitis
great
on deck.
situation.
Yep.
Great situation if you're Michigan Wolverines. Have your best hitter with a 3-1 count. Going to be sitting on that fastball. If it's not a fastball, don't swing if you're Lou Allen.
3-1 count. The windup. The pitch, she swings, lines this one to right field, but it'll drop just foul, tailing away. Got a good pitch to hit, but she was just a little late on it and poked it into foul ground. 3-2 now the count.
Yeah, she got that fastball, just couldn't quite put it in play. That one rode the line for a while, and then eventually tailed out right at the end.
Allen struck out swinging her last time up. She has just 2 strikeouts on the weekend, 1 looking and 1 swinging, a contact hitter. 3-2, she swings, hits this one over to short, throw over, and got her at third. It's going to go as a fielder's choice as Rodriguez thrown out at third. A heads-up play from Broussard to get to it and throw the runner out at third, and now Overitis will have to play the hero. Allen got something to hit and put it over to the shortstop. Broussard got to it, made a do-or-die play at third base. And she survived. But Overitis now 2 for 3 on the day, including a single her last time up. Michigan trying not to let this tiebreaker rule situation go to waste. Hutch talking, as I think we're going to get a pinch runner for Lou Allen. It's going to be Hanna Carson. Not exactly sure why they're doing that, because the lead runner, Blair, on second, if she touches home plate, this game's over. You don't really need Carasoni to do anything, but regardless, Overitis at the plate, and this is the best hitter on Michigan's team, at least in this game. Who you want up there? Danielle Lung has worked through it. Allowed a walk after the runner was placed on, but then got a strikeout of Jimenez and gets a hard-fought fielder's choice in a 3-2 count.
Yeah, only thing I can think here is if Lexi Blair gets to first base, they might keep her Corusoni at first base to try and work that fake double steal.
Yeah. Ball down and away, 1-0 on Morgan Overitis. Struck out swinging her first time up. Couple base hits since then. Been good going the opposite way today. 1-0. Gets a pitch down and away again. 2-0. Taylor Bump on deck. Danielle Long was able to work back into the count. Overitis singled her last time up and Bump walked her last time up. Any combo of that will get the job done here in the bottom of the 8th. 2 on, 2 out. Game tied at 0. There's a called strike on the outside black. Beautiful pitch from Danielle Lung. She's now over 50 for the outing in her 3rd inning of work. Michigan has really battled here, trying not to leave a 7th and 8th runner on today. Just 6 combined hits between these two teams through 7 2/3 innings. The windup. The pitch, Overitis fouls it back to the screen, 2-2.
Good protective swing right there. Nice and compact, just fouling that one off, living to fight another day.
Overitis battling with Lung here. Fresno State dugout trying to get fired up and hold themselves in this game, send it to a 9th inning. The windup, the 2-2, swing and a check swing miss. And Fresno State escapes, and they're running it out. Michigan is still playing, and I think this game is going to continue.
It is. Drop third strike rule is if the runner is on first base, that's going to be an out. But since it is 2 outs, that first base occupied rule doesn't apply.
And the umpire is chatting with Linda Garza, and I think this game's going to keep going.
This game is going to keep going. Great heads-up play by Michigan.
And that was an obvious drop third strike.
Lexi Blair almost took home on that. That would have been crazy.
That would have. Thankfully, Fresno State was able to realize what was going on. And because their dugout is on that third base side, they were all right there and were saying, hey, wait a second. Why is the play still going on? And heads-up play by Hutch to tell the runners to keep running. Bonnie Thole came screaming up that line, yelling at Overitis, who was just standing there frustrated in the batter's box, and told her, run this out, run this out.
Exactly. That's just more heads-up base running by Michigan. Their base running's been fantastic all weekend long.
Taylor Bump at the plate now. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Bump takes this one in the dirt, and it bounces away from Preston, but she blocks it forward. And a nice play there, 1-0. Taylor Bump drew a walk last time up. She's been a walk machine this weekend. She could draw a walk here. Michigan would win the game. Nowhere to put her. And Long thought she got out of that inning with a strikeout. Still pitching here. 1-0 coming. Taylor takes it down, 2-0. And Bump is in a good hitter's count right here. Lung seems a little just thrown off. It's got to be hard mentally for that sort of change in situation. Michigan's got their rally caps on. 2-0 coming. Bump takes it for a called strike on the inner black. Bump didn't like it, shakes her head and looks at Hutch.
That's
She
a
thinks
good leave.
that Terry Holt bailed out long on that one, but yeah, definitely a good take. Wasn't going to be able to do anything with it in at the belt.
Exactly, and a walk is as good as a hit right here. A walk scores a run. Walk wins you the game.
2-1 coming. She fouls it straight back. Lung puts it in the zone, and now the count runs even at 2 apiece. This has been an absolute battle of a softball game. Bases loaded. 2 outs, 2-2 count. Taylor Bump at the plate, trying to be the hero in her backyard for the Wolverines. 2-2 again. She swings, hits this one right over to second, and they will flip over to first to end the inning. Michigan cannot get that big hit, and we'll go to the 9th tiebreaker rule.
We'll
keep on going, and Megan Bobian will have to go back out there. Michigan could just not get the hit they wanted in that inning. They got runner on second, got a runner on first through a walk, and then you just wonder, I think, about that decision to try and bunt with Jimenez. Now that inning could have played out differently if Hutch had let her swing.
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, that's usually the right call. You know, bunt your runners over, get your next hitter up to just any hit they get is going to score the runner. But with Juju Jimenez, she's been hitting absolute missiles all day long. Every ball she hit has just been an absolute rope. I would have let her swing there. I don't know about you.
Yeah. On the other hand, if she lays the bunt down and the runners move up, that ground ball to short that Lou Allen hit might have won the game because it was deep in the hole. And with the runner going from third, it all depends on if they had center, because the runner going from third, throw deep in the hole to home would have been an interesting play at the plate. But Jimenez just didn't look comfortable bunting, and that's the big thing.
Yeah,
it's all about the comfortability.
Exactly. It's the freshman's first weekend. She hasn't really had to bunt in a high-stress situation, but she's been one of Michigan's best contact hitters, at least. She's been putting the ball in play every time, and you're kind of taking the bat out of one of your best hitters' hands.
We have a comment, is this a baseball game? I'm not sure if that's sarcasm or not, because the video title says softball, but regardless, Michigan softball is locked in a battle with Fresno State. 0-0 headed to the 9th inning. Broussard placed on second.
We are in the 9th inning.
We will do another inning of work with the tiebreaker rule in effect. And here's Galvin. That is not a hitter that looks like she knows how to bunt at all. We'll see if she squares, though. Runner on second. She is squaring, and she misses. Yeah, that was not a good-looking bunt attempt right
completely.
there. And this is another situation where if you are a bunt hater like our old friend Morris Fabry, this is a situation where you'd be a critic most of all, because Galvin's the only hitter who's had any success today, and you're making her square to bunt.
Yeah, you have 2 hits as a team, and Galvin has one of them, which was a double. Let her swing.
0-1 count. Squares again, pops it up foul. Yeah, she just does not look. This looks like if Miguel Cabrera was trying to bunt. Just unnatural right now.
I mean, coach is just taking the bat out of your hitter's hands here. Now she's in a 0-2 hole.
She takes a practice swing, steps back in. Now will Linda Garza make her bunt one more time? And the wind's starting to come to our backs a little bit here on the Donaldson deck. 0-2 coming, change up!
Just missed low.
It looked good at the knees there, and Terry Holt wouldn't ring her up. Now 1-2 the count. That's a great pitch from Bobian at 50 miles an hour. And Galvin was not swinging at all right there. Preston waiting on deck. Runner on second. Nobody out in the inning. That one in the dirt. Carson gets down. Really nice block there. 2-2. Bobian's going to the changeup 2 times in a row.
Yeah, block probably saved that runner from getting all the way over to third. Carson's been putting her body on the line for this Michigan team all game today.
2-2 the count. Bobian winds up. The pitch, swinging a high fly ball, but going well foul. That will hit a gazebo down there, the roof, and out of play. Galvin, pretty decent swing right there, but
yeah, that
out
ball
in front
went
of
way
a fastball.
foul. Way foul, but kind of got tanked.
2-2 the count. Beaubien steadies herself in the circle. Waiting a long time to wind up. Now she puts the ball in the glove. The windmill delivery in the dirt again, but Carson blocks it. She's trying to get Galvin to chase on the changeup, but that changeup isn't moving really well right now. It's dying before there's really ever a chance of a check swing. So now the count runs full at 3-2. Beaubien checks the wristband. Peers in at Galvin. Runner on second, nobody out. Top of the ninth. The pitch, swinging a pop-up in the infield. Is there room in foul ground for bump? Yes, there is, up against the railing of the Fresno State dugout. That's a big first out to sit down a hitter like Galvin especially.
Yeah, really nice play there by Taylor Bump. Not being phased by the wall right there, catching that one. Even looking back to second base to make sure the runner wasn't tagging. Nice play by Bump.
So it's a foul pop out to third base. And now Preston will come up. Runner still on second. Beaubien gets that big first out and doesn't allow the runner to move up to third. First pitch to Preston is high, and it goes off the glove of Hanna Carson. And that's a tough one for Carson. Probably going to go down as a passed ball as it just popped out of the glove. And now Beaubien, after escaping a situation where she would need a strikeout, now is in that. Carson, the first misplay of the game. And now the infield has to come in and run prevention mode. Megan needs to shake it off right here. 1-0 the count. Pitch right down the pipe for strike one. Preston today a pair of walks and a strikeout swinging. Michigan needs a strikeout right here. Every inning here in extras with the runner placed on second. Every inning is stressful. Everything tense. Both teams trying to claw and get the first run. 1-1 count. The windup, the pitch, right down the middle, called strike 1-2.
Yeah, nothing fancy about that one. Fastball right down Broadway at the knees. Only thing, 68 miles an hour.
Yep. And now does Beaubien dare risk the changeup because it's not hitting its spot right now, and the threat of a wild pitch, the way the last couple have just died in the dirt. 1-2 the count. Beaubien looks in, steadies herself. The pitch, check swing, froze her with the changeup, and that was a good one. Preston just a half swing and taps it to the screen.
Yeah, 18-mile-an-hour difference between that last fastball and that last changeup.
1-2 count. One out in the inning. Preston, the righty hitter against the lefty Beaubien. The windup. The pitch, swing and a miss. Dusted her upstairs at the rise ball. Beaubien gets that big strikeout she needed. And now Rollader comes up, runner on third, 2 outs.
Yeah, really low quality swing there by Preston. That one just kind of seemed lazy. But she did get really caught off guard. Beaubien came back with that fastball high in the zone after pounding and pounding at the knees. And then going low again with that changeup. That fastball upstairs caught her off guard. Nice strikeout there by Beaubien.
And the umpire pointing about something. Hutch comes out of the dugout, and that is going to go down as an illegal pitch. So the count will start 1-0. Beaubien couldn't quite tell what she did. The umpire saw it. Second pitch is right on the outside edge, 2-0.
Just misses.
Not a bad delivery. Rollader today, strikeout looking, strikeout swinging, called out on a batter's infraction in what was a bunt attempt that was a really good one, but she left the box too early. So 0 for 3 on the day. 2-0 coming. There's a called strike right at the letters. 2-1. Linda Garza comes out of the dugout and steadies herself at the third base coach position after she had backtracked for a second. She's playing very conservatively in terms of the third base coach position, closer to the dugout than the bag. 2-1. Just missed off the edge. Beaubien hits her spot right there and doesn't get the call. Now over 30 pitches in 2 2/3 innings.
She doesn't have much to do as a third base coach right now. I mean, 2 outs and a runner on third. She's going on contact anyway.
3-1. Beaubien's got to be careful here. The wind-up, the pitch, upstairs, ball 4. Runners now at the corners, and that'll bring up Jennings. Not a terrible idea to just let that at-bat wash away a little bit.
Yeah, no harm there.
You get off on a bad foot with the illegal pitch. Just reset and let things start fresh against Jennings, who's 0 for 2 with a walk today.
Jennings, the lefty, stepping into the box now.
Beaubien, the lefty. There's a called strike. Fielder's indifference will allow the runner to move up to second. No throw, or really attempt from Carson. Just let the runner move up, focused on getting this out right here. Beaubien trying to put a 9th goose egg on the board and give Michigan another chance to walk it off in the bottom half. 0-1. Great changeup, freezes her for a called strike. 0-2, and now Megan's got room to work.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the strength of Megan Beaubien. That changeup is deadly.
0-2 count, trying to get one more big K. Crowd clapping. The windup and the 0-2. Just off the plate outside. Terry Holt looks at that for a long time, and Beaubien's been getting squeezed on that outside edge again here today. She wants it so badly. And those are really nice pitches. Make the hitter really think about it. 1-2. The pitch. Check swing. She went around. And Michigan gets out of it. They go to the bottom of the 9th. Still tied at 0. Beaubien works through 2 straight innings with the runner placed on second scoreless. And now we go to the bottom of the 9th, where Taylor Bump will be placed on second. And you have to think Michigan might pinch run for Taylor Bump. He's not the fastest, not slow either, but when you have a bench to your disposal.
Exactly, there's no use not to use it. But Beaubien showing off the clutch gene right there. Had herself worked into a hole and just worked herself right back out with those strikeouts.
Michigan softball fans have to be thinking about the regional, where Michigan in Game 1 against James Madison went to 12 innings, and Beaubien went the distance, the greatest performance of her career in that one. Michigan walked it off with the Madison Uden single to win that game. We were notified that the person who asked about the baseball game was being sarcastic, which we do appreciate, some witty sarcasm. It's just that there are so many clueless people in our comments sometimes that we never quite know. We get quite a few "where's the video" type questions, even though we are pretty explicitly a radio station. But regardless, we're happy to be here for you. It's been a great day for some softball here in Tampa as the temperature keeps getting warmer. We want this game to end because we got a flight to catch.
Yeah, we do. We got to head back to good old cold Ann Arbor.
Now up to 74 degrees in Tampa. Feels like 74 exactly. Wind still east-northeast at 12 miles an hour. And now Hanna Carson will come up. They are going to put a pinch runner on second. That's going to be Lauren Essman for Michigan. And Carson, you want to just let swing here. This is not another hitter you want to bunt.
Yeah, Hanna Carson, mostly a power hitter. Just let her swing away.
And Lung goes back out there for another inning. 3 innings through, 58 pitches, 2 walks, 1 hit, allowed 3 strikeouts, navigated through that stressful 8th. And now we'll have a stressful 9th because of the runner placed on second. Carson steps up in the batter's box, the left-handed hitter. Essman down there at second.
This game just heading over 2.5 hours now.
Carson squares, lays it down. That's a pretty good one. Lung gets to it, throws over. We would have liked to see her swing, but she got it done.
And now you're in a great position if you are Michigan. Haley Hogenrod stepping up to the plate. The senior's been hot so far. A little lacking today, 0 for 2, but the past few days has been.
And she's someone with great plate discipline, sees the ball really well, the kind of hitter you want to be a contact hitter, somebody who sees it, just puts the ball in play. She lined out to first her last time up, struck out looking, also drew a walk. You want to get a fastball, put a charge into it, get it in the outfield. let a play at the plate happen.
Yeah, exactly. And the way Hoganrod's been finding gaps, play at the plate might not even be necessary.
Infield drawn in run prevention mode. Lauren Essman standing on third. Michigan trying to walk it off here in Tampa. First pitch from Danielle Long. Hoganrod takes it a little low. Got Thais Gonzalez on deck, and potentially Abby Skvars could pinch hit for her as well. Skvars is not in the on-deck circle. Thais is standing there, but you never know. Hutch over at third by her freshman pinch runner, Lauren Essman. 1-0 coming. Hoganrod hits this one into the outfield. Nobody's going to catch it. Michigan will win. Essman gallops home, and Haley Hoganrod, a walk-off double. You're headed back to Ann Arbor 5-0, and Michigan sweeps the weekend in Tampa.
Another double from Hoganrod. That's been her MO so far today. She had two, or so far this weekend rather. She had two yesterday against Florida. A big walk-off double here in the opposite field. What a great piece of hitting. She got that pitch low and away, knew exactly what she wanted to do with it, didn't try to do too much, let all the bat and the ball do the work for her. Great piece of hitting by Hoganrod and a great game for the Michigan Wolverines.
It was a gritty win. Michigan grinds it out, and they win it 1-0 in 9 innings. Boy, oh boy, what a battle today. An early morning start. You can tell Michigan is a little slow getting started, but hats off to the pitchers here today. How good were Alex Tarocco and Megan Bobian?
Yeah, absolutely. The Michigan pitchers have been dominant all weekend, and the defense really as well. Haven't let up too many runs. I mean, we only let up 2 hits today? That's fantastic work from the pitchers. Tarocco came out showing everybody that she has the potential to be a #1 pitcher, and Megan Bobian coming out and showing us just why she's going to stay in that spot. Great performances by everybody all weekend long, and a great opening weekend for Michigan softball.
And you look at Michigan on the weekend, they shut out Fresno State in 9 innings here today. They allowed 1 to USF in 8 innings yesterday. That's 17 innings of just 1 run allowed by the Michigan pitching staff. 2 against Florida, 4 against Illinois State, and then 1 against Georgia State. You total it up, that's 8 runs allowed in 5 games this weekend. Pitching staff dominant for Michigan. Only real issue with some home runs. That can get cleaned up. Hitters did their job through the first 3. Struggled a bit against some really nice pitching from USF and Fresno State, but they managed to battle through it, and that's what good teams do. They find ways to win. And for the first time in 9 years, Michigan makes it through the first weekend with a sweep.
Yeah, it was a great opening weekend of Michigan softball. More games to come, more exciting outcomes.
And Michigan will be headed off to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, to take on Louisville and UNC in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. We will not have any more games planned right now until they return to Alumni Field, but once Big Ten play gets started, we'll have almost every game the rest of the way, including postseason play. So a lot to come from our coverage, and during the meantime, while the team is still out in the South, we'll have every week an episode of East of the Rockies, our softball podcast. You can find that on SoundCloud at WCBN Sports Radio or on iTunes. If you like our coverage, if you like Michigan softball, subscribe to East of the Rockies. You can find that on iTunes. And that just about does it for us. We will have an episode coming this week to recap the tournament, but otherwise it was a lot of fun here in Tampa. A lot of folks in the live chat talking about us doing a great job, and we thank all of you for tuning in. Our pleasure to bring the softball to you. It was a fun weekend down here in Tampa, and we'll do it again next year. Any last thoughts?
No, absolutely. Fun, great opening weekend, and great start to my Michigan softball calling career. Great start, 5-0. Going to look to keep that going as we head back towards Ann Arbor soon.
Michigan softball has not lost with Charlie Brigham on the call. So there we go. Michigan headed back to Ann Arbor 5-0, likely to move up in the polls this weekend. And with that, we are signing off from Tampa. Final score one more time. Michigan 1, Fresno State 0. For Charlie Brigham, Alex Drain from Tampa, Florida, good night, and go blue.